Today on Dr. Phil.
John is very controlling.
A show about bossy husbands.
Why are you better than me? No.
No, you're going to have to let me say something.
That's not accurate, sir.
Gets out of hand.
You're going to have to let me finish, John.
But see...
John!
A guest tries to control the other guests.
No offense to you personally, but there's a time to shut up.
No, when you're talking about injustice, it's not a time to shut up.
The producers.
You have a dishonest staff. I have been lied to.
I don't appreciate you calling my staff liars.
And even Dr. Phil.
You are dishonest. You should go to Guantanamo Bay, where the other psychologists are torturing prisoners.
You may bully her with that, but you ain't going to bully me with it, my friend. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If it matters to you, that's what I want to talk about. We ready in the booth? Let's do it. Well, the topic of today's show is, well, actually, before I tell you, let me just bring out the guest. Why don't we do that? Kia, could you please bring out the guest?
All right, guys, let's go. Let's go. Quickly. Make a left. Sit right here. You sit in the first seat. You sit in the third seat. Well, actually, that was wrong. I said you sit in the first seat. You sit in the third seat. Sit. Great. Fantastic. Now stand. Let's go. Time to go to the stage. Quickly. You walk in front of him. Let's go. Quickly. No talking. Walk lightly. You go in front of him. Let's go. Let's go. Quickly. You're walking pretty slow. Quickly.
How you doing, Dr. Phil?
Great.
Jim, how are you? All right.
Turn around, face the stage.
John,
Fantastic.
how are you? Well, Jim and John are here. Would you say that Kia was a tad bit bossy?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, don't feel sorry for these guys yet. This doesn't even compare to what their wives say they're currently putting them through. So let's just start with Jim.
I am a controlling husband. I like it that way.
Jim has controlled me for the 15 years that he and I have been together.
I need to know where my family is at all times.
Jim uses a GPS to track us. He likes to know where everyone is, what they're doing, whom they're doing it with, and expects to be reported to.
I text my wife to find out if she got to work on time. I text her to find out when she's going to lunch. I freak out really bad when I don't know where they're at. They look good.
You know, the heels hurt my feet.
I know, but you're not going to be wearing them that long. You'll be sitting down eating anyways.
Jim has told me what clothes to wear, what shoes he wants me to wear, how he'd like me to do my hair, how he'd like me to do my makeup, and how much I should eat.
I go shopping for all my wife's clothes. I wash all of her clothes. I set her clothes out for her. I've told my wife how to style her hair, and my behavior is definitely out of control. I don't know how to stop it. I can't sleep sometimes because I'm thinking about the next day of what I've got to do to stay on top of everything. My wife, Michelle, wants to leave. She can't take it anymore.
I've told Jim I've wanted to get divorced because I'm tired of the roller coaster ride.
When I don't know every little detail, it drives me crazy. I don't know how to stop being a control freak.
You wrote in because you say you've had all of this that you can take.
Right.
And you're serious about that.
Extremely serious.
Okay.
Serious as a heart attack.
Yeah. And tell me why. 15
years is a long time. And I can't see spending another 15 years doing this. And I don't want to set this type of example for my children.
Okay. Now, John and Sally are here also. You were just talking back and forth here, and I heard you say...
And we were saying that we love each other.
Yeah, well, no, actually, what I heard you say is you're getting ready to walk out of here.
No, what I said, first of all, and once again, please don't selectively hear, but what I said was
well,
that...
Don't tell me what to hear.
No, because what you just did was you selectively told the audience what I said. First of all, what I told my wife was that I love her. And then, and you know, Dr. Phil, I have been lied to. And over the phone, over the interviews, coming here, there has been several lies told to me. And as a psychologist who is honest and authentic, to a certain extent, and by the way, I'm very authentic, to a certain extent, you should be ashamed of the type of program that you have ran, because I have been lied to. And I'm very disappointed
Who was it
in
that lied to you?
Kia has lied to me. There's been some stories, some things that said would not be shared, and now I learned they are going to be shared.
You've also talked to Astra, right?
Yes, I did,
Okay,
sir.
well, let's have Kia and Astra come out.
Okay.
I have the absolute best staff in television. And when you call
And I
them a
need
liar
help.
on national television,
And I need
they're
help.
going to talk to you.
No, I said that you have a dishonest staff. And are we perfect as humans?
Of course not. They're not.
Can they omit certain things? Yes, they can.
Well,
I'm a human
y'all
being
come on
too.
out.
And
Okay, this is Astra.
Yes,
Please say hello to
Astra.
Astra. Have
Hi,
y'all
Astra.
actually met in person?
yes,
You do when you got here? This is Astra. This is Kia.
and they're both two wonderful people.
Well, actually, you say they're liars. So tell me what.
No, now wait a second. You're
Tell me
generalizing.
what Astra says you lied.
Yeah.
What you say Astra lied about?
Well, what I would like to say, and since we're talking about it, is that there's a friend that I have, and he has back problems. Lots of times he's on medication. Lots of times he doesn't think straight. I was told this morning, lo and behold, he's on standby on the phone. He's going to be, and Kia, you even apologized about that for not telling me that.
It's not that I didn't tell you. It was clearly some kind of a miscommunication because he was always part of the show.
Well,
we were
then-
originally
well,
flying
no,
him
because-
here.
because-
We
and
were
remember-
flying
You
him
know, the
here.
issue is, John, you went back and forth so many different times. Like,
Yes, I did, sir.
Let's just keep it real.
Yes,
Because
I
you
did.
said you wanted to do the show, then you changed your mind. And then you gave us your word. And you said, you have our word, and then you changed your mind. You went
Yes.
back and forth 50 million times.
Yes, I did,
Of course, there's some
Doctor.
miscommunication.
Well, and I wouldn't
because you
say-
always knew that Tom was on the show.
Yeah, but you have
And
to
we
understand.
appreciate you being
Yes.
here, by the way. What I don't appreciate
And
is
Dr.
calling my staff liars, because they're not.
This is what I don't like about Hollywood and the mass media, is it's not real, folks. This is not real. This is so selective. Our past goes back 20 years, and I was a government whistleblower. I was persecuted. I had death threats. I had hate mail, and this was a time that I met my wife, and we were forced to go out of state. We were forced to make our lives over again. We bought a mobile home that didn't even have a floor in it. That's how important, because I had to flee government persecution, because I followed my conscience. I tried to commit my life to nonviolence, to peace, and to love. And we had to start over again, and it's been so difficult. What I want to say, though, is I took her away from her family. On top of that, Dr. Phil, I have come to realize I have neglected her. And that's mental abuse. I have neglected her. I have neglected her. And I admit to that.
You said he denies that he's controlling, and he says Dr. Phil needs to go work with the homeless or get a real job.
Yes, and let me respond to
and
that.
we don't need to, because I'm talking,
no,
and I
sir,
didn't. Let me
that was
finish.
an unfair statement. That was an unfair
Well,
statement
she
I
made it. I didn't make it. She made it.
Yeah, but I did make it, and it was unfair. It was a
Okay,
biased
but,
statement.
That's okay. I have
I know you do a lot of good.
I have a BA, an MA, a PhD, and postdoctoral work in forensic psychology.
Yes.
So
And
I
I've
know
worked in
who
the
I am,
refugee
and I
camp in
don't need you. And I
Guatemala.
don't
I
need
was
your.
involved in the U.S.
And I don't need
invasion
your
of
approval
Panama.
about that. But let me finish. Let me finish.
Yes, I have a master's too.
I'm proud of you for that.
And I'm proud of your degrees
Okay,
too, sir.
But no.
Starting with that
No,
couple.
No, they're fine. They're learning from this. They're learning from this. Trust me. Listen. Here's what I know, and if you're honest,
Yes, sir.
you'll hear this. When you're in a situation where you feel like it's kind of spinning out of control or you're losing control, then fear can make you aggressive. I'm on your side, and I'm the best friend you got in this room, whether you know it or whether you don't. She is in trouble here. She has reached out for some help, and if you will take the help, you guys can be happy and enjoy your lives and do a good job. But if you don't, then this is going to run off in the ditch. And she is reaching out for help. You truly want help, right?
Yes.
And she doesn't want to throw you under the bus. She's just saying, come on, I need some help here.
And that's why I'm here. We've been through four marriage counselors, and things have not got any better. And this is, and we both told each other, if it doesn't work here, we're divorcing. We don't want that.
Well, listen, and I'm not surprised you've been through 4 marriage counselors, because I suspect you are a pretty
and let me
tough
tell you
horse to ride.
Well, wait a second.
Sorry?
marriage counselor were only with
Yeah,
a few times.
yeah.
Well,
Sometimes
I would suspect that's true, but
Well,
you're
hold
not
on,
going.
let me say this.
But you're not going to run me out.
Oh, and I'm not.
'Cause I
but
wanna
once
help
again,
you.
Don't run me out either, because
No,
I'm a
not.
human being too. And you need to
I've
honor
shut
me.
everything
Yes.
down and sat
Yeah.
down to talk to you.
What I'm saying is sometimes I like the marriage counselor, she doesn't. Sometimes she likes the marriage counselor and I don't. And like, for example, the last time when we left the counseling room, the marriage, and he's a psychologist, the marriage counselor got up and he went, woo, as we walked out, you know, and I
bet.
thought, oh my God, you know,
Probably be doing
woo.
the same
Yeah, so
thing.
Yeah, no,
let
well-
me tell you, Dr. Phil, if you can help us, I don't want to say you can walk on water, but you're a miracle.
Well-
We need to slow down. I
Okay,
think.
yes.
Okay,
Okay, John.
but let me just tell you something. I'm not a water walker. I've tried it and it won't work. I'll tell you what I am. I'm just an old country boy from Texas that trades on a lot of common sense. And I know anxiety when I see it. I know get them before they get me when I see it.
Well, and
I know
that's your perception.
That's right. And
I'm a man of integrity and honesty and authenticity.
Didn't say you weren't.
And, well, yeah.
Didn't
but,
say you weren't.
Yeah, but I think in a roundabout way, well,
You haven't watched this show much, have you?
no, I have not.
Because I've been called a lot of things, but roundabout ain't one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you straight. I'll
And
tell
let me
you
tell
straight
I
up.
will never dehumanize you. That's
Yeah.
I will never call you a name.
Well,
We need to move forward here.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we need
See,
to-
she's being bossy right now. See
I'm
what I'm saying? Oh, I'm sorry.
no,
What
I
I'm
know
saying
you're
is that there
kidding.
should have been
Listen,
bossy husbands and
I know
wives,
you're
yeah.
kidding when you say that, but I tell you what she's doing is she's saying, please don't blow this.
I don't
Calm
want to blow
down,
it.
take a deep breath, and then let's
But I
deal
am
with
calm.
this.
This is who I am, and
I
life.
hope that's not true.
Yeah, maybe that's part of the problem. But life is passionate.
Yeah.
Life is passionate.
Okay, well, we're not going to quit on you.
Okay.
Okay, and you want to slow down a little bit, right?
Yes.
So let's everybody just take a deep breath. We're going to take a break, and I'm going to chat with this couple up here.
We
We'll
can
be right back.
disagree. Okay.
No offense to you personally, but there's a time to shut up. And sometimes he
When
doesn't
you're
shut
talking
up.
about injustice, it's not a time to shut up.
Let me say to both
Let
of
him have
you,
their time.
But I'm not going to be
Sorry.
dehumanized,
No.
sir.
and later,
And I'll
listen,
say-
you're
I
going to
said that
listen
I
to me
like-
because
I
I
like
don't need to be
solitude.
lectured by you about world
But-
peace.
but
You
if you-
don't know
if you
me,
lie, sir,
and
you
don't
do.
you presume to make judgments about me, and
But
don't
you're
call,
making judgments about me.
No, I'm not. Don't call me a liar because of something your wife said. Now, you may bully her with that, but you ain't going to bully me with it, my friend.
No, I'm not bullying anybody.
Mike would like to control all of my life.
I don't think control is a bad thing.
He used to pick out my hair color and dye my hair. Mike draws my baths and tells me that I need to take a bath. Mike is in charge of our prayer life. He sets up where we sit to pray, what time we're praying. Living in the situation I'm in right now, I feel I have to have alcohol to cope.
Cindy absolutely uses me as an excuse for drinking. I'm overbearing, I'm controlling,
Do you get that you treat her like a child?
because she wants to be.
Have you tried to control what she's going to talk about on this show?
I would say that yes.
Is this marriage going to work if he continues to do this?
He has to accept me and not try to change me.
Well, that was a clip from a past show, You're Not the Boss of Me. Now, Jim here emailed me right away after watching the couple on that episode. True? That was
I
the
did,
couple that
right
you
after
saw.
that show.
You watched our exchange down here. Did you see yourself in any of this?
I did. I see the controlling ways, the bossy ways, and that's what I'm trying not to get to.
Did you see a dynamic here that is similar and on the
Absolutely.
screen and here?
Yeah, it was amazing how similar it was. And no offense to you personally, but there's a time to shut up. And sometimes he doesn't
When you're
shut
talking
up.
about injustice, it's not a time to shut up.
Okay, and let me say to both
Let him
of
have
you.
their time.
But I'm not going to be
Sorry.
dehumanized,
No.
sir.
I'm sorry.
John,
Let me
Let him have
let
their
me
time.
say to both of you.
let him have their
I've said before, I don't care how flat you make a pancake, it's got two sides.
Right.
And I have no doubt that you are not a perfect wife in this. I have no doubt that you're not a perfect wife in this. And you guys aren't all bad, evil guys. I mean, there are two sides to all of this. But Jim, let me talk about some of the things you said. She says that you'll call her every hour at her job to keep tabs on her, that you insist that she take her lunch break with you, that you pick her clothes, you pick her hairstyle, you tell her when to socialize, you track her whereabouts via a phone and computer system, that you parent as a single parent because you refuse to get her input, you choose the kids' studies at school, you choose after-school activities. The 3 kids run everything by you because you're just kind of out of the loop at this point. You controls the spending and her paycheck, make her doctor's appointment, pick what vitamins for her to take. I mean, it just goes on. You set food and diet habits. You've taken over all the cooking. You check her Facebook account. You've persuaded your 16-year-old to sign up for the Marines. You've told her when you'll move, where you'll live, how the money will be spent. I mean, you're feeling really crowded here. Would you like to know what he wrote to us? Do you have it?
I have it.
Read some of it for us. I wanted to hear what you said.
Okay. It says, Dear Dr. Phil, hello, I've just watched your show today, January 3rd, 2011, about a controlling spouse. I am that spouse, unfortunately. I've been off from work with a back injury since January of 2010 and have had 3 back surgeries. I have always made the decisions for our household with some input from my wife, but I take the responsibility as protector and provider. My wife is smart and I love her very much. She has said she thinks I am suffering from anxiety, but I'm not sure. I feel so out of control even though I control both the lives of my kids and of her. I really want help to be able to make them all happy and want to be around me being happy. My kids and I get along fine, but my wife is suffering. I don't want to lose her. My family is everything. Please help me. I'm scared and want to be less controlling of her. We used to get along so great, and I know God sent her for me. Please tell me how to fix me.
Are you surprised that he's got that much insight into this?
Extremely surprised and totally unexpected.
How do you feel about what he said?
It's a mixture of emotions because I'd been telling him for years that he needed to change his ways or we were not going to last long. And there's always been so many things that I've told him that either a therapist or a friend or somebody would come by and tell him, and all of a sudden it's a revelation. And here it happens again. He watches you and it's a revelation on something that I've already told him. So.
But here's the problem with this, and it's not an issue for you yet because you're quite a young man. But as we get older, our energy and ability to control everything, we just don't have it. We don't have the energy. And so it starts, all these balls we've got in the air, a few of them start dropping.
Right.
Because we just get fatigued. We run out of gas. We run out of energy. But the problem is you're fixing a psychological issue with an environmental control, and that doesn't work. You've got to deal with psychological issues psychologically. And we'll be right back. What you've just said is incredibly outrageous.
And what you just showed was incredibly outrageous.
Okay.
Why are
John,
you better than me?
Let me finish.
Where's equality at? We're
No,
here
you're going to have to let me finish, John.
Yeah, but see...
Look, John! And later...
I'm sorry, y'all. I know y'all came here, you know, you paid your ticket, but this is such a fair and an accurate representation. It really is.
You're not going to be able to calm him down right now. I'm going to have to talk to him.
Okay. Well, I'm here with Sally now. She says that her husband, John, is so controlling that she spends most of her day picking up dust bunnies from the floor and only speaking when it's allowed. Now, I'm going to tell you here, we're going to report what you say. And if you want to clarify anything or debate anything, we can do that. But let's take a look at what you've had to say.
John is very controlling.
I think that control is a matter of perception.
There's certain things that are must-dos every day. Cleaning the pool, sweeping the driveway, the floor in the house needs to be swept, rugs need to be shook, dishes need to be done. He looks around, and I sometimes feel like he's looking for fault. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells, and I feel like I'm constantly trying to please John.
Whenever Sally accuses me of being too organized or obsessive compulsive disorder, I just tell her, well, you know, cleanliness is next to godliness.
John does not like noise in the house.
I love a quiet home.
When John's on the computer, I'm not really allowed to talk to him. I can say good morning. After John finishes the computer, he exercises in solitude. He likes to be alone.
I think society would consider me a very, very strict parent.
John mandates a 9 p.m. curfew Sunday through Thursday for our 2 adult sons.
My sons are age 21 and 22.
This is the family calendar we have hanging on the wall, and here are a couple times that my husband put on here, don't make plans, don't make plans. I thought maybe we were gonna go out, but instead here's when everybody home for the night. It just feels like a power play. John's control has really done a lot of damage in our marriage. I very much feel like I turn to food because it is the one thing I can control. It's a decision I can make, and he's not going to stop me. If John doesn't change, I'm very close to leaving.
Okay. Fair representation of how you feel.
I don't want to leave.
That was not really a fair representation. Well, let me please, if you all would give me a chance. We live in a city that is 88% economically disadvantaged. And the crime rate, we have a 40% dropout. Let me finish. We have a 40% dropout rate. Please just give me a chance. We have a 40% dropout rate in our high school. And they have formed gangs. And there's stabbings, there's drive-by shootings. And I want my sons, I want my sons safe and sound. Now they're living with us. But see, that's not true, because what you did was you doctored that up. There's lots of times where my sons go out during the weekday, and they may stay out till 12 or 1 at night.
Okay, you cannot filibuster here.
Well, no, I'm just trying to point out what is accurate, and that was not accurate.
Okay.
You are dishonest. No. You should go to Guantanamo Bay, where the other psychologists are torturing prisoners.
Okay.
Let's calm down.
No, I'm telling you, please, this is not accurate. This is not accurate. And they are portraying me very inaccurate.
Okay, John,
and
stop for a minute. John, come on.
Somebody else a chance to talk.
Come on now, let me help you here.
Yeah, but you've already had a chance to talk with all these real showy images.
Come on.
Real showy images, and we think with images as a society.
Okay, John, you're going to, at some point, you're going to have to let me say something.
Sure.
Okay, I mean, give me the respect to letting me respond here. Now, what you've just said is incredibly outrageous.
And what you just showed was incredibly outrageous.
Okay.
Why are you better than me?
Let me finish.
Where's equality at?
Okay, John, let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish.
Focus.
Well, evidently not. We're here.
You're going to have to let me finish, John.
Yeah, but see,
look, John, come on. Now, listen, you can't filibuster here.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's okay. It's okay.
Have you walked in my shoes?
You're gonna have to let me talk here. What we just showed was your wife. I didn't say any of that. She said that. And I asked her, after I played the tape, is this a fair representation of what you said?
Is it?
I think it is. Now, I just feel like... May I say something?
Let her finish, yeah.
I think we need to get back to the point that we're here for us. We're not here for you to argue with him or about your global views.
But see,
we're here for us.
Yeah, this is a disagreement we have. It's
I know,
not
but
an
you're
argument.
John, we don't have a disagreement.
But you're creating.
Once again, you're taking things out of context. And well, hold on.
I feel like the mediator now.
And as Americans, boy, we really love entertainment, don't we? While we're fighting 2 wars that are destroying our country and drawing us deeper into debt.
Okay, look.
Now, let me just say this.
Now, listen, you're going to listen to me because I don't need to be lectured by you about world peace. You don't know me, and don't you presume to make judgments about me, and don't.
But you're
call,
making judgments about me.
No, I'm not. Don't call me a liar because of something your wife said. Now you may bully her with that, but you ain't going to bully me with it, my friend.
No, I'm not bullying anybody, sir.
You need to understand that right now. You are here for your marriage. I'm trying to get you, John. At some point, you've got to be willing to take a step back and say, you know what? I'm getting too intense here, and I need to focus on what's important to my wife.
Because you're dealing with real human beings. You're dealing with somebody who has been, who's just been really beaten down by the government.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. John, at some point, now don't turn away from me. Talk to me. That's disrespectful. At some point.
Well, maybe I was thinking. See, you misinterpreted my actions.
You've got to say, you know what? I'm willing to hear what my wife has to say.
No. And by the way, I'm sorry, y'all. I know y'all came here. You paid your ticket. But this is such a fair and an accurate representation. It really is.
You're not going to be able to calm him down right now. I'm going to have to talk to him.
Okay. Would you like to go off stage and talk to him?
Yes, I need to go talk to him.
John, at some point, now don't turn away from me. Talk to me. That's disrespectful. At some point.
Well, maybe I was thinking. See, you misinterpreted my actions.
At some point, you've got to say, you know what? I'm willing to hear what my wife has to say.
Can I get in between you two for a minute? I need him to look at me.
Okay, you want to go off stage for a minute?
Please.
Okay, y'all can do that.
Okay, yes, sir.
Let's go. Okay.
Okay. Now, let me tell you what I would like to say to John and what I want to say to Jim. And I felt like that you and John, for that matter, were trying to control emotions by controlling things outside yourself. Now, I have here a letter from your son.
Right.
And let me first say, y'all have raised a very intelligent young man, a very articulate young man, a very thoughtful young man that is hurting for the two of you a lot. He's missing you both a lot. He is struggling with the conflict between you a lot. And he's hoping that I will help you a lot because he sees this all slipping away. So he wrote me this letter, which y'all gave me, thank you. And you haven't read this letter. With his permission, I'm going to give it to you, but only if he gives me permission to give it to you. What has to happen here is you've got to do something that men have a hard time doing. You know, if men deal with emotion, they read that as weakness. You know, if you have a need, if men say, I've got a need, then it's a weakness. But that's not true. Right now, you're in a life situation that has your self-esteem really low, which is why you fear she's going to leave you. And I strongly believe what I fear, I create. If you fear it, you'll create it by overreacting to it. You don't have a big problem here. I told you to when you were up here, this is one of those relationships that can be fixed, and it can be fixed in a fast hurry. But you're experiencing a real anxiety disorder, and you need help with that. And you don't need medication. You need to learn to calm yourself. You need to learn to quiet yourself. You need to learn to take a chance that without making people do what you want them to do, that they will still stay around. And I can give you the skill sets to control that. And give this 90 days, and you're going to see a very different dynamic in your family and your marriage. Can you do that? Because we'll start working on this right away.
Thank you.
In your town. We'll be right back. Well, we're back with John and Sally after taking a break, and I'm going to do this a little differently. I'm just going to answer questions. How can I help either one of you?
Wow.
Thank you.
We need some communication help. We need some self-esteem help. We need some control help.
I'd like to say a couple things. I have neglected my wife. And a lot of the things that she does, a lot of things we do, it's because I have neglected her over these last years. When we had to move, when we moved away from family, we're trying to get back closer, but I have completely neglected my wife. I have abandoned her. And a lot of the things that I see now where she's reached out for help, I was too busy writing, I was too busy working, I was too busy doing this. I have not been a friend. I have completely neglected her. And it's not necessarily about bossy husbands or about control. I have high expectations. And if she doesn't, let me tell you, my wife keeps the cleanest house in the world. And what happens is when I come home, if there's something on the floor, if the rug needs shook, then I'll shake that. She feels like I'm undermining her job at home, that I'm trying to one-upmanship. And so there's some problems there. Sally, she's put on some weight lately, and it's really distorted her view. And whereas I try to look at things very optimistically in the world, she looks at things pessimistically. But all along during this time, and I think maybe that's where the food comes in. All along, I have neglected her. Like she would want to go out and do things. She would want to do this. I wouldn't have time. And I have completely neglected my wife.
Do you have a question that I can?
Yeah, the question is, what can I do not to be neglectful? I need to make that commitment. What can I do to be a friend again?
Okay. And can I answer that question?
Yes, sir.
It's all about empathy. It's all about empathy. The quality of a relationship is a function of the extent to which it is built on a solid underlying friendship and it meets the needs of the two people involved. So, what is it that friends do? Friends share things about their life. They're interested in one another's lives. They share stories and victories and tragedies. They laugh and talk. And sometimes I see married couples that'll get up in the morning and walk by each other in the hall and, but yet when they go to work, it's like, hi, Sue, hi, Bill, how you doing? Oh, what'd you do last night? They put more effort into a friendship than they do into their marriage. And so I think you have to work on getting back to being friends. And as I was saying to Jim in y'all's absence, sometimes we quiet ourselves internally by controlling things externally. It's like, okay, if everything's in its place and there's a place for everything, I can feel like things are right with the world. But that's not really true. And we'll be right back. You two need to really get back to basics. Question, I want you to answer this in a very focused way. Why did you fall in love with this woman? What was it about her that you said, this one I want to stay with?
The first thing I noticed about Sally was her smile and the wagon with two little children that she carried around. And then it was that friendship, it was that friendship. We shared our dreams together. We talked about maybe someday starting an orphanage. Dreams like that. We would spend so much time together. And I think that to a large extent. What's that?
Did you think she was cute?
Oh, beautiful.
Did you think she had a good sense of humor?
Yes. And at the same time, along with all of this, we accepted each other. we listened to each other.
But then we got away from that, right? What was it about him that you fell in love with?
Well, he was nice looking. That was what caught my eye, I guess. But I think, once we got to know each other, we had a good friendship. We really did. He was my best friend. We were involved in things together. And that was something that we were close to each other because we had a lot of activities together.
And something that will help you at this point reconnect with her is to learn to quiet yourself internally. Learn to really relax and just kind of let life wash over you a little bit. Because there's time to work, and I've been accused of being a workaholic myself.
That's right. It's true.
My wife out there saying, uh-huh. So I had to say that or I'd lose all credibility.
True.
But, I've had to learn, and I think you would benefit from learning to really quiet yourself internally, calm yourself, and let all the stress and tension go where you have nothing to do, nothing to solve, nothing to conquer. And that's not about being worthless, because I'll promise you, you will be much more effective when you're in harness if you take care of the horse when it's out of harness. You got to fill yourself back up some, because we need change agents in this world. We don't need martyrs. We need somebody that stays in the game, and to do that, you got to take care of yourself, and that means you got to learn some skills to control stress, pressure, anxiety, tension, all the things that can cause a guy to get really intense, because you can get pretty intense, and when you do, then you really speed up, and you say and do things that you don't really mean in the heat of the moment. I mean, couples do that.
And I'm really trying to work on, because I know right now Sally has a real fragile image because of her overweight, and she talks about her overweight.
No. Let's stop. Listen, I'm not going to. I'm not going to go.
I don't mean that.
John, they're responding to that because they're women, and you're criticizing her for her weight. Now, listen, I'm not going. We're not going there. Stop.
I've never said one thing negative.
No, we're not going there. You're going to listen. Let's focus on what I am, and then we're going to stop this conversation. Because I'm telling you what needs to be done. And I've given you the formula for success in a relationship. I've told you what I think needs to be done to get this back on the right track. And I'm going to make some resources available to you that I think you'd really enjoy. I think you could really throw yourself
Dr.
into
Phil,
it and enjoy it.
It's my wife. She puts herself down all the time about her being over, and that's what I meant. She puts herself down, and that hurts me, because I think she's a beautiful woman, and
I get it, and I think we need to.
In his defense, I'd like to say he has been supportive of since I've gained the weight. He has been very good to me about it.
And if you want to get that done, we'll help you with that. Seriously, we'll help you with that in a very healthful way. If you want to do that for you, we'll do that. But the expectations, I know I got a sneaking feeling if I went to my wife and said, there are dishes piled up here, she would hand me some soap and a rag, so I don't bring it up.
Yes, I would.
I'd have a job if I brought it up.
And see, that's another thing. I'm a firm believer in household chores. I do dishes and I do clean. But see, Sally thinks that when I do that, it undermines her as a stay-at-home.
Well, I'm going to help you get over that.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Then he can just
so I do dishes, and I do clean, and I don't mind doing dishes.
When I do them, I'll just break a few, and then she'll say, "Hey, get out of the way. Just let me do it." Works every time. Remember that one.
My son learned that. Yeah, he does that a lot.
But I'm telling you, we need to reduce the stress and pressure here. Work on this focus, and I'm going to give you some opportunities to do that. And then we'll see what happens, okay? Give me a chance to work on this? Give me a chance to work on this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll be right back. Well, I want to thank all of my guests today. One of the things I always tell folks that are up here is, there is a bit of a trade-off. I mean, up here you get up close and personal focus and resources made available to you. And what we get out of it is a teaching tool. And I hope that everybody that's in a relationship will look at the relationships today and say, do I see myself, even in part, on either side of a relationship? Am I being too submissive and not standing up for myself? Am I being too over-controlling and crowding somebody? Because trust me, nobody wants to be treated like a child in an adult relationship, and it never works long term. So if you're in a relationship that has an imbalance in it, work on that. I mean, try to find a way where you treat each other with dignity and respect. If you want long term, that's what it's going to be, is a give and take. Thanks for being here today. So long. See y'all. Bye-bye.
Today on Dr. Phil. She's in a great relationship with her coworker, but that's not okay with her boyfriend.
Have you lied to him about where you were when you were with Josh?
Yes. Josh does have more than friends feelings for me. However, he's not going to pursue that.
He's a guy.
He's a guy.
For the first time,
I don't believe that I'm crossing any boundaries.
The two men meet.
You either need to commit to this relationship or get out of it. But you don't go play footsie with this guy.
Plus,
I'm obsessively controlling, and I feel like it's a touch of insanity.
I was in a 12-year relationship before Tommy and I got together. I can't even bring up my ex's name, because if I say his name, I get...
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If it matters to you, that's what I want to talk about. We ready in the booth? Let's do it. Go, Dr. Phil. Well, Ricky considers him her best friend, confidant, and someone to just turn to in good times and bad. But she isn't describing her relationship with her boyfriend and the father of her 3-month-old daughter, but rather her relationship with her coworker, Josh. There's a new phenomenon called the work spouse, a person of the opposite sex that you work closely with 8 to 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. Now think about that. You could be spending more time with that person than with your significant other. The relationship can be tricky because there's a blurry line between co-worker and too cozy. Now, has Ricky's relationship with Josh crossed this line and become part of this new phenomenon? Well, boyfriend Aaron, he sure thinks so.
Aaron is super jealous about my relationship with Josh. You haven't taken the time to get to know him.
I don't want to get to know him.
Josh and I don't have those kind of feelings.
Ricky and Josh talk every day, constantly, by phone, texting, or outside of the workplace. It makes me upset and angry.
Aaron definitely thinks that there is something going on with Josh and I, and there clearly isn't. Josh and I have a relationship that Aaron and I don't have, and I know that that's sad.
One time, Ricky was supposed to be at her sister's helping her sister move, and she ended up at a basketball game with Josh.
I know that if I were to tell him the truth, he's going to either get upset or he's going to, lash out. It's not worth it.
That makes me feel like it's a competition between Josh and I.
I don't want to have to give up my friendship with Josh, but it's seriously tearing me apart.
How am I supposed to trust you when you lie to me? How's that trust?
I'm not asking you to trust me, because whether or not I am an adult and I can do whatever I want, okay? It's an everyday battle. It's exhausting.
My biggest fear is that she'll leave me for Josh, and Josh will take over my family.
If Aaron continues with this jealous behavior, it's gonna kill me to have to walk away.
Does he have a right to be concerned here?
I think as, the father of my child, yes, he does have the right to be concerned, but we've been together for 2 years. There has to be some type of trust.
Why aren't y'all married? You fight like you're married.
I know. It's come about. He did ask me to marry him when we had Aubrey, and I said no, because if you were to go through a day with us, we can't go a day without fighting, and it just gets worse as you get married. as from what I've heard.
Well, the paperwork's not going to change whether you fight or whether you don't. And what do you think's going on here? Is she crossing the line? Is she over involved with this guy?
I believe so. I've been lied to about where she's been. She's hanging out with him behind my back, not being honest about it.
Are you forcing her to lie to you by overreacting to innocent interactions?
I don't believe so, but she feels otherwise.
Absolutely.
But there's more going on to the picture than what's being seen.
Okay, what's going on that's not being seen? Let's get it on the table.
Okay. Josh, it's been, you know, he co-signed for our apartment. I was lied to for 4 months about that.
And with that, I should not have had to go outside of our relationship. You are the father of my child. You are my boyfriend. We've been together 2 years. If I have to go outside of our relationship and you cannot provide for me, me as myself, I have to provide.
Okay, but if my credit isn't good enough to co-sign, that's not my fault.
I don't understand why you are still going on about this. I did what I had to do. I put a roof over your head. And I don't mean to make you sound like a bad person, Aaron. I did what I had to do.
Okay, but why lie for 4 months? And that's one issue.
Because
what you're talking about is you've got this relationship with this coworker, right?
Josh, correct.
Josh. And Josh co-signed for your apartment so you would qualify and be able to get it. You didn't know that.
No.
So you're living in an apartment that he is on the lease for with your significant other.
Yeah.
And that bothers you.
Very much so.
Why is Josh doing this for you?
Because I didn't want to have to go to my parents. I'm one to say 6 months pregnant at the time. I did not want them to think that Aaron could not provide for me. I'm 23 years old. I should not have to depend on my parents.
Are you living with the wrong person?
Aaron?
Yes.
No.
Should you be living with Josh?
No, but I mean, it's been brought up.
By who?
Aaron and I have gotten into some altercations that have escalated. If I were to need a place to stay while I was going to a new place, Josh gave me that option. He has a spare bedroom.
Okay, you mentioned that she's lied to you about where she is and what she's doing. And I said, if you forced her to do that, I was just curious what your opinion was. You said no, you said yes.
Yes.
But now, look, you have a committed relationship here. Are you committed to him or are you kind of iffy?
As of right now, it's very iffy.
It's very iffy.
Very iffy.
Okay. Have you lied to him about where you were when in fact you were with Josh somewhere?
Yes.
You said you were going to your sister's house to help her move?
Yes.
And you went to a basketball game?
Yes, and it was not just Josh and I. There were other coworkers there. And the only reason I did that was because whenever I say I want to go do something, he has this controlling issue where he will up and leave and it'll be me and my daughter.
Have you been to his house with just the two of you?
Yes.
And played video games and beer pong and that sort of thing?
Yes.
So I mean, I'm sorry, but that sounds to me a whole lot like a date.
I didn't even know about that.
Well, you know it now. I mean, you're going to learn a whole lot while you're here.
I think so.
His main thing is that it is a male. A male. If it was one of my female friends, he would have no problem. He'd be like, go ahead and go off and do that. But since it is a male, and it's it's a male, not just Josh, any male, mostly Josh, but it's no, absolutely not. If it was a female, which I think is sexist, by the way.
Well, it may be sexist, but I hardly think one of your female girlfriends is going to be trying to get next to you and get you into bed or get a relationship advanced. Do you think that this guy that's spending all this time with you has no designs on you beyond just, hey, buddy?
I know that Josh does have more than friends feelings for me. However, he knows that I have a relationship with Aaron. We have a daughter together. I have Aaron's child, so he's not going to pursue that.
He's a guy.
He's a guy. Thank you.
There are some rules that you need to have when you have coworker relationships. And one is you don't share personal information with them. You have boundaries and you respect that. Okay, if you have an opposite sex person, you don't go talk to them about your marriage troubles. That's crossing a line. You don't share marriage information. You don't share personal information. You don't go with them alone off-site to places like their house to drink and play video games. You don't have alcohol involved. Look, you may not like this, but those are things that lead to problems. I'm just telling you, they lead to problems.
Would it be different if it was a girl?
Yes.
Wait, why is that? Why is it that I can
Didn't we go over that a few minutes ago?
I understand that, but if we've made that I want to say commitment to not be like that, I don't understand why there's a
You've
problem.
made the commitment to not be like that.
I'm pretty sure Josh has too. That's what he told me.
Oh, well, problem solved. I got to cover something else here before we go further.
Yes, sir.
You get upset and you get intense about this.
Very.
Have you put your hands on this woman in anger?
Yes.
That's wrong.
It is.
That's wrong.
There's
I don't
more to
care
the
what
story
she
than what's been
does or
explained
what
now.
she doesn't do. You have no right to put your hands on this or any other woman in anger ever.
I understand that.
I don't care what the circumstance is. I think you're being really sensitive here. I think you're being kind of paranoid about certain aspects, but yet you do have some things here that are crossing the line that you do have a legitimate complaint about.
There's no trust anymore in our relationship.
No, well, there's not. Okay, now look, Aaron says that he's never met co-worker Josh. He's going to have that opportunity today because I'm going to ask him to join us here. We'll be right back.
Aaron wants me out of Ricky's life very badly, even to the point of issuing death threats.
Aaron thinks that Josh and I have this secret relationship going on, which we don't. When Aaron gets his hands on my devices, he tells me, and it brings up fights. I have to erase my history on my computer. I've had to delete my text messages. I've had to go as far as changing the names in my phone from guys' names to girl names.
I found out that Ricky had Josh's number saved under a girl's name, Ashley. If there is nothing going on with Ricky and Josh, why is his number saved under Ashley and not under Josh?
Well, there's a phenomenon today in the current economy called the work spouse. And we're talking about people that you spend as much or more time than you might with your husband, wife, or significant other. Is that dangerous? We're adults, right? We can have opposite sex friends. Of course we can. But there is a decorum, there is a protocol, there have to be boundaries when you do that sort of thing. Now, Ricky and her work spouse, Josh, insist that their friendship is purely platonic. But is it really for both of them? Let's see what Josh has to say.
Ricky and I are very good friends. We share everything together. When there are any issues with Aaron, she does come to me looking for advice or just a different perspective.
I cannot talk to Aaron about that openly and freely. As with Josh, he understands where I'm coming from and he does not judge me on things. He is my best friend.
When Ricky and I spend time together, it's mostly just friends hanging out. Sometimes it's just watching TV, watching a movie.
I don't, go on dates with Josh. I don't get dressed up to go out with Josh. There's definitely a distinction whenever I hang out with Josh versus Aaron. Aaron definitely does not understand that.
Deep down, I do have feelings for Ricky, but I'm not acting on them because she is in a relationship.
I did tell Aaron about Josh having feelings towards me. I figured I would just get it out in the open. I think it fueled his fire towards Josh more.
Aaron wants me out of Ricky's life very badly, even to the point of issuing death threats, basically demanding that I leave him and his family alone.
Aaron thinks that Josh and I have this secret relationship going on, which we don't. Aaron has so much hatred for Josh.
I don't think it's just me that he wants out of her life. He wants everyone that she can turn to out of her life.
Okay, Josh, welcome. You've been watching the show, right?
Yes.
Backstage?
Yes.
I've been talking about boundaries and definitions. Are you crossing any of those?
I don't believe that I'm crossing any boundaries other than friends.
Is there anything you want to say to him?
I don't appreciate the way you treat Ricky. I hear a lot coming from her. I've felt the death threats come from you ever since pretty much me and Ricky met. I don't like the controlling attitude. I mean, you guys should be able to trust each other. You guys do have a child together. I understand that you're a good father. I understand that you guys have to be together as far as Aubrey is concerned. However, that does not mean you're a best match for Ricky. I'm not saying that I'm the best match. I'm not even going there. All I'm saying is you can be a great father, but you treat Ricky horribly.
And you know that how?
Which part?
That he treats her badly.
I've heard him screaming at her when she's on the phone with me. I've heard many stories from her where he shoved her off the bed, left bruises.
Okay, so you're going and talking to him about Aaron.
Correct.
And confiding in him about your personal relationship with
Aaron.
With Aaron, your significant other, the father of your child. Do you think that's crossing a boundary with a coworker?
No, because in the year and a half that Josh and I have known each other, Josh is my best friend. If Josh was a girl, I think it would be fine, but since he is a male, I guess it's not. And I don't see why that is.
Okay.
I don't see where it's any of Josh's business to know what's going on between Ricky and I. I mean, it's none of his business. He has no reason to be in a relationship at the same time.
Yet it's okay for you.
I would think a man would want to step back and knowing this is bigger than just me. Like, it's affecting my whole family, the family that we're trying to build together. And I think as a man, you'd want to step back and say, look, okay, evidently something's going wrong here. Maybe I need to step out of the picture for a while, see if you guys can heal what's broken, and then maybe, I can come back into the picture.
Except I have stepped back many times. There have been months that have gone by where
Yes.
Ricky and I have
Coming
not
back in.
talked, and you pick a new target. You've picked her family, you've picked other coworkers, you pick other people in general in order to keep pushing people out of her life, to keep that hold on her.
Okay,
So the only person she has to turn to is you.
Well, what business is that of yours? No, seriously.
I have a question.
Ricky and I are coworkers. That is true. However, because of our work setup, we actually are more friends than true coworkers.
You have feelings for her, you admit, that go beyond being a friend, but you say you don't act on them because
I respect her and respect her
but
choice
yet
to be
you
in a
do act
relationship.
on them because you have a relationship with her that goes beyond just being a friend. You have a relationship where you feel protective of her. You have a relationship where she confides in you. You advise her. You give her information. You offered to go to parenting classes with her when she was pregnant.
And I say that.
True?
True.
She comes to your house and y'all drink and play video games, just the two of you together?
Not usually just the two of us.
Not usually. I don't care how usually or unusually. I'll guarantee you, I've been married 34 years. My wife has never been at somebody else's house drinking and playing video games with another guy. I mean, did I wake up in the Twilight Zone or something? Am I just too old to understand y'all?
No. I have a question. If you say that I'm not supposed to hang out with Josh as much, who am I supposed to talk to? I mean, there are certain things I cannot talk to him about because he gets jealous and he yells at me. So whenever I need to get away so I
What are
don't...
your girlfriends about then? I mean, ain't that what girlfriends are for and
And
you
which
girls
one
talk
have you
about?
known?
I have no doubt. Seriously, I said you're like a paranoid that really does have somebody after you because you are apparently very threatened here. You are apparently very insecure. I don't know how three people could be involved, all with a point of view, and not one of you be anywhere near correct. Let me just call roll here, okay? Let me just call roll. Let me start with you. You are overpossessive, you are insecure, you are jealous, and you are chasing her away. You are headed for an affair with him. Let me just call roll here, okay? Let me just call roll. Let me start with you. You are overpossessive, you are insecure, you are jealous, and you are chasing her away. If you are putting your hands on her in anger, that is wrong. You can't do that. You couldn't make more mistakes if they were assigned to you. You cannot do this. Do you have legitimate reasons to object? No question about it. You absolutely have legitimate reasons to be objecting to what's going on here. But your reaction to it, and in fact your contribution to it, is undeniable. You, somehow or another, you have just suspended common sense. You have just suspended common sense. You're saying, you're in a committed relationship with the father of your child. If you don't want in that relationship, get out, but you don't go play footsie with this guy. You are headed for an affair with him. In my opinion, you're having an emotional affair with him now, okay? To me, intimacy is certainly not limited to sex sexual interaction. To me, intimacy is when you share your innermost realities with another person. You confide in them. They know you to the core of who you are. That is something that is appropriate between a husband and a wife, a man and a woman that are committed and significant others. If you are turning to him to do this instead of him to do this, then the relationship is fractured. You are crossing boundaries in that way. If you cannot do that with him, then you either need to repair this relationship or exit this relationship, but you will not fix it by having a surrogate and a substitute here.
I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to repair it.
We'll talk about that in a minute. You're getting where you don't belong. You have said that you have feelings for her. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I mean, you have feelings for people. I get that. But she is in a relationship here, and you are creating serious conflict in this relationship by being over-involved with her. You're going on dates with her, right?
I wouldn't consider them dates, no.
Well, then one of us...
hanging out as friends, with a group of coworkers, I could understand if her and I had gone off by ourselves, got our own seats, completely alone, that I would consider a date, yes.
Okay.
But when we were with a group of other friends, all coworkers, all friends, their families, that's not a date.
That's great camouflage, but it is what it is. And you didn't have these coworkers over at your house when you had her over.
I did.
Yes, we did.
Well, okay. Guys, we'll be right back.
Josh co-signed for her apartment.
Ricky didn't have the established credit in order to get the place by herself, so she did ask me to co-sign for it. When Aaron found out, he was not happy.
Right now, if I need help, Aaron will say something like, oh, why don't you go have Josh help you? Josh this or Josh that.
I think Aaron took that as an insult to his manhood. My intent was to help out a friend in need.
Aaron says Ricky should confide her fears, doubts, and dreams in him and not her work spouse, Josh. And I'm calling it work spouse because that's kind of defines this relationship people have with folks they spend a lot of time with. Now, to me, you two are headed for an affair. I mean, I think you're already having an emotional affair, but I think you're headed for more than that if you continue down this path. If that's okay with you, then you need to end this relationship here.
I don't understand why I cannot be friends with Josh and I cannot confide in Josh when my family is so far away. If there's for instance, where I need to get away, so we do not get in a physical altercation, where am I supposed to go? My car?
You tell me you get in a conflict with him, and so you get in your car and go to him. Are you going to tell me with a straight face that that doesn't sound inappropriate to you? That you have a conflict with your significant other and you get in your car and flee to this guy? Are you telling me that you think that that would be okay?
He's my best friend, yes.
And you also know that he has feelings for you that go beyond friendship.
Which he has kept hidden for a very long time.
But they're not hidden now, are they?
No, they're not.
And you know that.
Yes.
So you have a guy that has romantic feelings for you, and you've admitted that, correct?
The feelings, yes. The actions, no.
But you've got romantic feelings for her, so you get in a fight with him and you flee to a guy who has romantic feelings for you, and you think that is a healthy relationship dynamic?
No.
So what is it that you're confused about then?
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I mean, obviously we're not in a healthy relationship, but I'm so confused on how I'm supposed to fix it. I feel like I'm stuck in between two people that are pulling me two separate directions, and I can't do anything about it.
Okay, let me just ask you here. You said that you're caught between two people like a rope in a tug of war.
Exactly.
Okay, that doesn't sound like a friendship relationship to me.
Our friends not supposed to give you advice. They're supposed to be there when you need them.
They're not supposed to make you a rope in a tug of war.
And I've never pressured her in any way, shape, or form as far as leaving him, as far as anything.
You are a smitten kitten. You have feelings for her, right?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, I don't want to mince words. You do. But she is in a committed relationship. And you need to back off and respect that. And you're saying, look, what you're doing here is you're taking away my best friend and leaving me with somebody that's abusive, controlling, and overbearing.
Correct.
Thank you, Dr. Phil. Nice fix.
Thank you, Dr. Phil. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay. I'm telling you, you two have a child. I don't believe people stay together for the children.
No.
I don't believe that. But you do have a child here. You do have a relationship here. And you need to try to resolve this in some way, and you never, ever fix a relationship by turning away from your partner towards a third party. An interloper never, ever helps the situation.
Not even family?
Ever. Well,
Not even family.
there are certain things that are between a man and a woman in a committed relationship, and that's where they need to be resolved. You have some problems here. Do you get that?
Yeah, I understand
You're
that.
threatened by a lot of people besides him, true?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and that's what I mean. You're like a paranoid with somebody after you. You do have somebody here that has crossed the line, crossed the boundaries, in my opinion. You may disagree, and you're certainly welcome to do that. But you are hypersensitive about this stuff, and this is like throwing salt on the wounds. You need some couples counseling, and I will make that available to you. Without that working, or if you don't want to do that, then you either need to commit to this relationship or get out of it. But you don't keep 1 foot here and 1 foot over here, which is what you're doing. That will drive you crazy.
I am going crazy.
This relationship, in my opinion, is inappropriate. This relationship is inappropriate.
Okay. What would you do if you were me? Would you tell me to stop talking to him? Like,
What I would do if I were you is I would recognize that this relationship has crossed boundaries. Okay. I would recognize that I need to rein this in. I would ask him to respect the boundaries of this relationship and give you an opportunity to work on it. I would not be confiding in him things about your marriage because that's inappropriate. I would not be going to his house with or without co-workers to play video games and beer pong. I would not be lying to him about going to move my sister when in fact I was going to a basketball game with him 1 week and a hockey game with him the next week. Those are dates. I don't care what you want to say. Those are dates. That's inappropriate. I would stop that behavior. I would take the help that I'm offering to arrange for you in your hometown and try to get this resolved.
You say hockey game, Dr. Phil?
Yes.
I was lied to about that too. You told me Josh was not there. You left there so we could go dinner.
Thing.
I was totally lied about that one right after the basketball game. And
Aaron,
we went
if
to
I
dinner
tell
afterwards.
you where I'm going, you will jet out and I will be stuck at home with Aubrey.
You need to recognize there is a pattern here. How many examples there are doesn't
There's
matter.
plenty.
You need to get some help here.
And I love her and I'm willing to do it.
Well, then you need to do that, and you need to calm down and work on this, and you need to respect their efforts to do that and give them the space to do it.
Okay.
Okay? Fair enough? Okay, we're moving on. My next guest, Tommy, says his partner is a little too friendly with customers at work. We're going to hear their story when we come back.
If I smiled at you wrongly, Tommy would be going. He gives me the look.
Do you give him a look?
Yeah.
He's pulled him away from talking to people.
Well, I mean, it's just I can't help being jealous. I mean, I'm petrified of being alone for the rest of my life.
Tommy gets so jealous that I just lose all wits to myself.
When Andy and I get into arguments, it goes from steady arguing, yelling, screaming, and I just shut him off. He's a very vivacious, very bubbly personality, but the hugging hello, the hugging goodbye, when I see it, I feel like my head is fixing to explode.
He takes my friendliness as being flirtatious, and it's just absolutely crazy.
When he's being a little bit too touchy, the first thing I do is I tell him, I got my eyes on you.
Tommy and I have reconnected with an old friend of ours named Paul. And Paul is a childhood friend of mine. He and Tommy used to be involved. Paul has a new lover named Gino. And Gino and I just hit it off immediately.
Andy became Facebook friends with Gino.
When I'm not around Andy, I do send him texts and emails.
It's a little excessive, in my opinion.
I feel like I'm steadily being watched.
I check everything from his phone bill to his email accounts. I forbid him to ever delete anything.
I am so tired of arguing because of his jealousy.
If something is not done with the way that I deal with this jealousy, that it's going to end up destroying this relationship.
Okay, so what's going on here?
I've always had a problem with jealousy. Several relationships throughout my life has ended because of jealousy. I hate it. It's come to a point where I feel like that Andy is my soulmate and that I need help because I don't want to end this relationship like so many before them has ended.
So you've run him off before with this jealousy.
Exactly.
You've driven him crazy before.
Exactly. Dr. Phil, right? He has ran Paul, which is Gino's lover now, of 15 years. They dated in the past, and this is why they broke up.
Now, you're currently in a relationship with Paul.
Yes.
We've been together 15 years.
15 years.
Yes.
You used to be in a relationship with Paul.
Many years ago.
Many years ago. Well, as Tommy has said, this is not the first relationship he's put in jeopardy because of his jealous behavior. His ex-partner, Paul, Gino's current partner, called it quits after Tommy drove his car into a restaurant during a jealous fight. Take a look.
Tommy was jealous to the point of being obsessive.
I followed him constantly. He would call me and say, I've got to be at work this afternoon, and I would leave then and go to his house and see if he was there, and then I'd go by his job and make sure he was there. On one occasion, I was tracking him, and he tried to get away from me, and I didn't allow that.
He jumped in my vehicle as I was driving away and took control of my steering wheel, which caused me to run into the establishment where we were dining.
It was extremely childish and pretty pathetic.
After the car accident, that was the end of the relationship. It seems now that Tommy has a jealousy issue with me reconnecting with Andy, and he has a problem with Gino and Andy now having a friendship.
I'm obsessively controlling, and I feel like it's a touch of insanity.
Okay, y'all are gonna have to help me out here. I actually had to make a dance card.
I can see that.
Here, where I've got Tommy and Andy, but Tommy used to be involved with Paul, who's now involved with Gino. You're childhood friends with Paul.
Right, exactly. Right.
Okay, but you're now good friends with Gino, and you have a problem with all of it.
I am confident in who I am. I speak to everybody, and I want everyone to feel my compassion.
Are you a flirt?
No, not at all.
Yeah, he is.
Not at all.
I have to jump in and say I disagree. Andy is always been outgoing. We've known one another all the way through elementary school, all the way through high school. We've always been friends.
But y'all have never been lovers?
Never romantically involved at all.
Never even discussed anything like that.
Tommy was the first guy that I ever dated. It was really good in the beginning, except for the controlling issues. It became more of, I didn't know whether to mind him or my mother. Type of a situation.
So why do you think you're the way he's describing you?
I really feel like I just don't have any control. It's like almost like an out-of-body experience. When something strikes me that makes me jealous, it's like it just takes over. I mean, I have no control over it.
Do you think with this hypervigilance and constant sarcastic remarks and complaints and criticisms and pouting and all the things, do you think that gives you control?
Well, at the moment I do it, yeah.
His ex-lover right before me rents a room from us upstairs.
Well, that's because we ended on good terms and we're friends.
But you wouldn't like that.
I wouldn't allow that, no.
You wouldn't like that if he was renting in with Gino.
No.
If Gino was just taking a room in the house, you wouldn't be okay with it.
Listen, I was in a 12-year relationship before Tommy and I got together. I can't even bring up my ex's name. Just seem like memories of talking of a travel that we went to or anything. I have to just act like I had gone by myself. I can't say his name because if I say his name, I get.
And you know, and it just, and I, being as vibrant as I am, and I react to everything. Of course, I get mad as hell, you know, and I go, how dare you with your double standards? We have a little lounge, and I'm the bar manager. I can't even, like, as far as going behind the bar, and if you said, I want a beer, if I said, hey, buddy, what you want? You need a beer? And if I smiled at you wrongly, Tommy would be going, I'm watching you. He gives me the look.
Do you give him a look?
Yeah. He's pulled him away from talking to people.
Well, I mean, it's just, I can't help being jealous. I mean, I'm petrified of being alone for the rest of my life. I feel like that he is my soulmate. I want to make sure that something is done to fix this before I run him away like I have with the previous.
Well, you want me to tell you how you're going to have to do that?
Yes, sir.
Well, stay here, because we're going to take a break, and I'm going to do just that. We'll be right back. Well, I'm here with Tommy, who's dating Andy. Also here is Paul, who Tommy used to date, and Gino, who's now dating Paul, but is friends with Andy. Your hope, according to you, is that you were going to come here and I was going to straighten out his flirtatious nature.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I was going to fix him.
Nip it in the bud.
Can I jump in here, though, and say that you don't really have to have a flirtatious nature to be on the defensive end of some of Tommy's jealousness, because I wasn't doing anything when I was getting a lot of the flack from Tommy in our relationship many years ago.
I got you.
Dr. Phil, Gino and I've never met Gino until September of 2010. We immediately hit it off, and we just had that little connection. I don't talk with him outside.
Is that paying you to hear that?
No, not really. I just don't like him showing any excessive attention to anybody besides me.
So in return, you want to change my personality and who I am to adjust to what you want?
Well, and ultimately, that's what I'd like to do, but I know that's not going to. I know that's not going to work. I mean, I know that that's not going to work.
This isn't at all about your partner, is it? Because it's been about every other partner you've ever had as well. So it's not about your personality. You could change and be 10 levels below your current level of engagement and energy and vibrant interactions and all of that. And you would say that would be better, but you're certainly not that way, and he drove your car in a Cracker Barrel.
Well, and that was the thing. I felt, you know, in the beginning of the relationship, almost like it was sort of a privilege that someone wants to be involved in your life, someone who cares about you that much. You sort of take it as a compliment.
It's actually very tedious, isn't it?
Very much so.
And it wears you down. It does. And so you wind up spending a lot of time experiencing anxiety.
Exactly.
And then pouting. Because you got to let him know this was not okay. You're going to be punished now, right?
Yeah.
And so we get...
Exactly.
We get to look. Why do you put up with this? I think you teach people how to treat you. Why do you put up with this?
Well, I'm in love with him, and I want to make this work.
At this point, he says he's in love with you, but you know you're going to blow it, right? This is going to...
I feel that way.
You've got to be honest enough with yourself to say, it's not about him, it's not about what Paul did, it's not about what's happening between these two, it's not about anything. This is something that comes from the inside out, and it has to do with a lack of security. It has to do with a lack of self-esteem. It has to do with a lack of self-worth. Because you have the feeling that if you don't maintain a hyper-vigilant attention and control over everything, that it's going to slip away.
That's exactly the way I feel.
Because you're unwilling to say, you know what, I'm just going to let this unfold the way it will, and I'm going to have confidence that I have enough value and enough worth that somebody's going to be with me because they want to, not because I make them, not because I trap them, not because I got them into the web and kept them there. What you've got to be willing to do is say, I've got to stop trying to control other people and focus 100% on myself. This is an anxiety neurosis that you have, in my opinion. And if you can learn to dissipate the anxiety, if you can learn to trust yourself enough to let some rope out and say, wow, people didn't run away, you're going to feel like you won the lottery.
Well, see, that's what I want. I mean, that's what I want. I just don't feel like that I can do it. I mean, I've tried to do it. I've tried to just sit back and say, okay, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to, bring it up. I'm not going to, do the watching you thing. And it's just like I can't.
Okay.
I can't.
There's a difference. What you're doing is what I call white knuckling. That's like somebody that says they're sober. They haven't had a drink for 3 weeks and they're clawing the end of their chair. They haven't really dealt with the addiction. They're just white knuckling through. That's what you're doing, right? You say, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let him go over there and talk to him, and I'm going to just sit here and not say anything.
Exactly.
And the whole time you're going, and he's feeling like, my God, is he in a seizure? Okay. That's not healing. What we've got to do is you got to quit being defensive about this. Go inside and learn how to manage this anxiety. I will arrange that for you to give you that physiological control where when you feel that coming on, you can push it away. And I'm going to tell you, in a very short period of time, you can turn this around if you're willing to do the work. Are you willing to do the work?
I'm very willing.
I mean, really, you got to be.
Sir.
You got to. You
Yes,
got to
sir.
quit trying to justify it. Quit trying to defend it. Quit trying to explain it. Just acknowledge that the problem is yours, not theirs, and take the help and get this anxiety under control.
Please.
You'll do that.
Please.
Really?
Yes, sir. Please.
Okay. Well, we're going to follow up with you guys and find out what happened. We'll be right back. Seriously, this will turn around very quickly.
Today on Dr. Phil.
From day one, you fought with me.
Have you coached these children to say things about him?
Never.
How did the youngest refer to him as bad daddy? Did you post on MTV's Bully Beatdown to elicit somebody to beat this guy up?
It was a joke.
I'm not laughing. Did you beat a dog?
I've never beat a dog.
Did you see him beat the dog?
Yes, I did.
What I just want to say to these parents is cut it out. Cut it out.
She did get arrested.
I am a good mother.
My oldest daughter's been brainwashed.
I am not brainwashing my children.
Somebody here is blatantly lying, and I am going to get to the truth. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If it matters to you, that's what I want to talk about. Are we ready in the booth? Let's do it. Go, Dr. Phil. Now, Christy says it was love at first sight when she met Michael. They married, had 3 kids, divorced, and now, 10 years later, it is war. Christy says it turned ugly with her ex-husband the day he announced he wanted custody of their 3 children. That'll do it. In the last year, there have been accusations of kidnapping, physical abuse, domestic violence, withholding of gifts. The list just goes on and on. Take a look.
I initiated the divorce.
It was almost like, now I'm going to get revenge on you. I'm going to try and take the things that you love most, and that's the kids. I saw the true Christy.
He threatened me, saying, I have endless amounts of money to bury you, and I will do whatever it takes to get those girls away from you. I'm terrified Michael will hurt the kids. I've seen it, and now I'm not there to protect them.
Christy called the police and told them my dad had kidnapped our youngest daughter. My dad subsequently was pulled over by 4 squad cars in the middle of the street and searched. My ex-wife Christy posted an ad on MTV Bully Beatdown looking for somebody to beat me up. Christy has been physically abusive to me. The final straw was when she did hit me when we were arguing over a chair.
It was a tug of war. Mine, mine, mine.
When she knew I was not gonna let her just take it, just that quick, crack it, hit me across the face.
And I just kind of like fell off it like this. I fell into the chair because I had been ill and not steady on my feet. Only possible way is if when I went like this and brushed off, something happened. I didn't punch him, and I didn't slap him.
I called the police, arrested her, and had a jury trial, and they found her guilty.
Had me arrested, spent a night in jail, which I never want to do again.
It really is unbearable to see your kids suffer and see their lives so chaotic.
Well, Michael and Christy don't have contact with each other right now. For visitation drop-offs, they avoid each other, which is frankly probably a pretty good idea. Now, I'm going to have each come on out here and have a seat now. Michael, Dr. Phil, good to see you. Christy?
Hi.
Phil, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Tell me, whichever one of you wants to say first, what's your goal in being here today?
My goal in being here today is to protect my children. My girls want to be with me. And they are scared because he has hit them. He has left bruises on them. Another reason why I filed for divorce.
What's your goal in being here?
My goal is to get her to stop putting our kids in the middle of situations they shouldn't be in, and for us to hopefully one day learn how to parent these kids and make their lives better than they are right now.
You guys recognize that this is, at this point, a chaotic war between exes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What's your contribution to that?
Probably the biggest thing that I own, some of my biggest downfalls, is communicating with her. There's such a lack of trust.
Well, that's kind of a left-handed criticism of her.
Okay.
Look, guys, come on. I'm not very happy with what's going on in this situation at all. I assume y'all want the truth from me.
Oh, absolutely.
You really do?
Yes, I do.
Even though you're not going to like a lot of what you hear.
Yeah.
Because, look, I've been doing this a long time, and you guys are screwing this up in a big, big way. And make no mistake, you can get self-righteous, you can get sanctimonious, you can point the finger at each other, but your children are the ones that are paying for this. Exactly. And you may think that you're going to win this battle, but I'm going to promise you the day will come, if you alienate your children from him, if you alienate your children from her, they will resent you for that before this is all over with. They know if they're being manipulated, they know if they're being programmed, they know if they're being biased, and they will figure that out, and it's going to come back and bite you. What's your ownership in this?
My ownership of this is trying as best as I can when the girls are at my house to make sure that Michael's name is never in a negative light, making sure that they constantly communicate with him.
You never say anything negative about your husband? Your ex-husband?
My ex-husband?
Yeah.
I can say some things negative about my ex-husband, but I do not do it to my girls. I do not speak to my children as, your father is this.
Okay, let me ask you something. First off, I don't believe either one of you are being honest with yourselves here. I just don't. On January 10th of last year, did you post on MTV's Bully Beatdown a post to elicit somebody to beat this guy up?
Yeah.
Did you do that? I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? You said the following things. He's hit me before, but the fact that he would hit my daughter is repulsive. He needs to be taught a big lesson. If there's anything you think you can do with this punk bitch, please let me know. You posted that?
I did.
About your children's father?
Well, that's not his daughter. It's his adopted daughter.
Is that a good idea?
No, it's not a good idea. It was a joke. Bully Beatdown is a show.
I'm not laughing.
Well, I don't. And I'm sure he was laughing about it. Look what I got on her now. I can try to take him away from her again.
Okay, well, if that's what if you're keeping score, then that's one for him.
Oh, okay.
No question. But this isn't about keeping score. I don't care. You two clearly are at odds. Okay, it happens. You know, seriously, it happens. People get married, maybe shouldn't have to begin with. They change, things happen, the wheels come off. I get it, it happens. But I'm talking about the impact on the children here. And you record her a lot, right?
Yeah. When I know I'm going to have contact with her.
Well, you know you're going to have contact. You record her.
Yes.
Okay, and you've been glad you did a few times because she made allegations that the tape seemed to refute. But it's interesting, when one person knows they're being recorded and the other doesn't, that's not really fair, is it?
Yeah, I believe it's fair.
You think that's fair because you know it, so therefore you say, good evening, how are the children? She doesn't know it, and she's mad because of something you've done, so she's volatile, and you're saying, well, perhaps you could calm down a little bit. I mean, you know, it's like you're reading from a card. Is this really what this has come to? This is a man that you loved at one point, right?
I did, yeah.
Y'all slept together.
Not enough.
You ate together. You traveled together. You shared a life. You share these children. And now you're calling the cops on each other and recording each other and putting up these. We'll be right back.
Push me? Don't touch me. I never touched you.
This recording kept me from going to jail or being arrested.
His husband slammed me between the door and the brick of the home.
I was actually holding my youngest daughter. Christy pushed me in the back.
I went to the emergency room.
I had contusions, possible fractures.
The police department called me and said that I had slammed a door on her or something.
Christy said she had an altercation that resulted in her going to the ER. Now, each tells the story a little differently, so I prepared a graphic that lists what he said versus what she said. Now, keep in mind, all this drama occurred over 2 days. You say you waited 5 hours for the children. Sat in the driveway, waited 5 hours for the children, right?
Yes.
Okay. Christy says, I took the kids for their safety. Did you tell them why?
They didn't know that they were seeing him that day.
Okay. Michael filed a missing persons report.
Yes, I did.
Christy says, I didn't tell anyone where I was going. Michael says, approximately 23 hours later, Christy called and said, where are you? Christy says, I was home before 24 hours. Is that a trigger point, 24 hours?
He never made a missing persons report. You can't do that until 24 hours has passed.
Yeah, so you got home in
And
23 hours.
I spoke to the police and my lawyer.
Yeah.
And yes, I did get home in 23 hours.
Yeah. Christy had Christmas gifts in trash bags. You gave the children Christmas gifts.
Gave my oldest daughter Christmas gifts.
Right, your oldest daughter Christmas gifts. You put them in a trash can liner?
No, that's actually how they arrived.
Okay, you said kids didn't want the gifts. Here they are back.
My eldest daughter did not want the gifts, exactly.
Michael says, I turned and left and she pushed me. She pushed you. Christy says, well, before he left, he slammed me in the door, so you went to the police and the ER.
That's correct.
Right? Okay. Now, Michael happened to record the incident. Let's hear that.
See you later. Did you push me? Don't touch me. I never touched you.
They said, I don't hear any doors slamming. I wouldn't put it past her to do it to herself. This recording kept me from going to jail or being arrested.
Did you want him arrested when you went to the police?
No.
You felt like you'd been assaulted, so you wanted him arrested?
I had been assaulted, but you know what? I didn't call the police on him that day because I didn't want our children subjected to seeing their father being arrested right in front of them. I have a little bit more respect for my children than for them to see their father like that. And he's recording me all the time, and I'm the one that has issues?
Do you have issues?
With him, I do, yeah. I do have issues with him.
Are you still in love with him?
No, I am not.
Have you been in love with him since y'all split up?
It faded pretty quickly since he turned ugly right at the very beginning.
Yeah, at the very beginning.
Yes, when I told him that I was leaving him.
Well, you've actually called him and professed your love to him.
I had in the past, yeah.
Michael says after Christy filed for divorce that she would call and ask him to take her back. He recorded one of those conversations. Let's hear that and let you respond to it.
18 months later.
Every day, I wish that I didn't do this. Every single day. I know how bad I up. You know how fragile I am. Why wasn't I enough to fight for?
What do you expect from me?
I want you back. I want what we had back. And you always will be who I want to be with. I have never stopped loving you, stopped being in love with you, and I have never, ever been unfaithful to you. No matter what happens, I will never be able to move on. So can I come over?
Not right now.
Miss you every day of my life. I just want to see you.
Do you remember that phone call?
Actually, that was a couple of phone calls feeded together.
Is that true?
No.
That's one phone call?
That's one phone call.
And when was that phone call?
I don't remember the exact date, but it had been in 2009.
Why'd you record that phone call?
I started recording the phone calls or any of our interactions with each other as a way to protect myself. And these are just the things that I got recorded through that process.
Do you think that's fair? I asked you that before. You think that's fair?
Yeah, I do think it, because I think it shows
you see people's true side.
We don't see yours. You know it's being recorded. That's the problem with that. You know, you see what I'm saying? It does give you information about her in a candid sense, but it doesn't give us any information about you in a candid sense. So it's kind of an unfair comparison, right? Because she hasn't recorded you when you've been mad, when you've been upset, when you've been emotional. You don't have those recordings, do you?
I never did.
You understand that that's a problem?
Well, I guess I don't
See, I
see it as
spent 15 years as a litigation consultant, and I spent a lot of time in trial with this sort of thing, and I'm always skeptical of it when one person knows it and another person doesn't. It is information, but you have to really take it with a grain of salt. Now, 8 days after the divorce was finalized, Christy got engaged to Anthony. We're going to hear what he says about this, and then we're going to talk about some of the allegations that you've made against him that you think are legitimate reasons to be concerned about the safety of the children. All right, we'll be right back.
Michael abused our dogs. He kicked my dog in the head.
I love dogs. I've had dogs my whole life. She accused me of beating our dog, Bo, to the point where he has irreplaceable leg damage or something.
I honestly don't know how Michael feels about the new puppy, Charlie. The girls are afraid when they leave. They say to me, Mom, I really wish we could bring Charlie here because I'm afraid of what Daddy is gonna do. Michael kicks him out of the way.
It was a very outrageous comment, but again, it was something else that she got my oldest daughter to believe.
Well, Christy says she filed for divorce because the straw that broke the camel's back was because Michael beat one of his dogs with a flip-flop. Now, Michael denies this. Christy also claims that Michael kicked another dog in the head and he died the next day. What do you say about that?
I say they're lies. I've never beat a dog in my life.
You didn't
I've never
kick a dog,
kicked a dog in the head.
Kill it?
I've never killed a dog.
Did you beat a dog with your flip-flop because he ate your flip-flop?
No. I've never beat a dog.
Never beat a dog?
No.
Okay. And did you see him beat the dog?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Now, somebody here is blatantly lying, and I am going to get to the truth. If I was on the bench and you were in my court, I would find out who was lying, and the consequences would be dire. You are playing with fire here, you guys. You're playing with fire. If I was involved in that and I found out you were lying, that'd tell me you were lying about a whole lot of things. And so I would have serious concerns about your fitness as a parent. If you were making these allegations falsely, and you were therefore pointedly alienating him from his children, I'm telling you that would have dire consequences here. And so I'm trying to warn y'all before this happens. I don't know, who's lying here? Are you lying?
No.
Are you lying?
No, sir.
Okay, one of you, do you realize one of you's lying?
Yeah.
Either you're lying or you're lying. You can't both be telling the truth here.
Yeah, that's why I left him.
You filed a CPS complaint against him.
No, I did not. The pediatrician of our two younger daughters and my oldest daughter saw bruises on the 4-year-old.
You have a female pediatrician.
Yes.
You took the children there.
Yes.
You reported and showed her these bruises, correct?
I didn't show her, the children did.
You didn't know there were bruises on the children?
Well, that's obviously why I took them to the doctor. Yes, I knew there were
Okay,
bruises
then why
on
are
the
you
kids.
splitting hairs with me? You saw the bruises on the children,
Yes.
so you took them to the pediatrician.
My concern is where they had come from, because they were not in a place that bruises normally would happen. The doctor also felt a little concerned, so she called CPS. She was the one who initiated the social service investigation. I was not.
So your point of correction for me is that you didn't file a CPS report.
You asked me something about the doctor that I didn't understand.
Okay, well, I asked you if you filed a CPS report. You then gave me the mechanism through which it was filed, which is a distinction without a difference. You initiated this process and a CPS report was filed. If you believe your children are being abused, you should file a CPS report. If you're doing it to get leverage, then you are parading your children through an evaluative process that is traumatic on its face. So what was the result of the investigation?
She decided that it was excessive discipline, not abuse. I beg to differ.
So they found no cause to go forward. We'll be right back.
My 4-year-old child came home with bruises. She was starting to well up, like her eyes. And she said, Daddy hit me. I was livid. Around this area right here is where I would find bruises. You would have to have been left-handed. My ex-husband, Michael, just happens to be left-handed. I am right-handed. Spots are always here, or they're here.
I've never spanked them.
Do you spank the children?
No, I don't.
Do you spank them a little bit, a lot, or not at all?
Not at all.
Have you been to counseling with your daughter?
Yes.
Does the counselor think the child's being coached?
Yes, the counselor has said everything she is telling her, she is being coached to say those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different story that she gives me,
Different story that who gives you?
the counselor.
And what's the counselor tell you?
She doesn't think she's being coached.
That's actually in the CPS report.
Oh, it is, huh?
Yes, actually it is.
Okay. Why don't you fight for Mr. Bow if you loved him so much? So when you hit with the flip-flop,
Why fight over that?
well, you fought over everything else. Why not the dog?
Because I don't want to fight. Because it's ruining our
From
kids.
day one,
It is
you
ruining
fought
our
with
kids.
me. Yes,
I don't
I
wanna
know.
fight
You're
about
doing a
that
good
stuff.
job at it.
Have you coached these children to say things about him?
Never.
How did the youngest refer to him as bad daddy?
That was her choice. I said, honey, you should not call him that. He is not bad.
So
I mean, I did it in it wasn't okay. I didn't negatively coach her. I guess, by me saying, you shouldn't call him that, he's your daddy. Because I have to encourage their relationship as much as I don't want it all the time in their face. I have to encourage them before they go over there.
If you
before they
believe
start
he is
crying.
abusing your children, why would you encourage the relationship?
Because the courts don't like it. They don't believe me, so.
Well, the courts don't believe you, and the police don't believe you, and the counselor doesn't believe that you're being straight with him, according to the CPS
The
report.
counselor never said that to anybody, according to the counselor.
She said it to you and then said something different to you.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I've just been doing this a long time. I've just never seen such disparate reports. Christy's fiance says that he has seen bruises on the two youngest girls when they return from visiting Michael. What have you, Anthony? Thank you for being here. What do you have to say about this?
The children come home and they just start talking about what's going on and what happened at Daddy's house, and Daddy's always mad and Daddy's always yelling and Daddy doesn't play with us. And the 4-year-old kept rubbing her side, and I asked her what's wrong with her, and she said, Daddy hit me.
How do you explain that?
I don't hit my kids. My oldest daughter's been successfully brainwashed. And I can see the wheels in motion to try and get my two youngest ones to be brainwashed in the same manner.
Mm-hmm. Well, Christy's fiance, Anthony, shared a piece of artwork made by middle daughter Taylor. It says, Dear Daddy Tony, I think you're like the dad I never have. Love Nugget Tay-Tay / Taylor. What do you think about that?
I believe my two oldest kids, they've figured out that this is what they want me to say, this is what they want to hear, and they figured that out already.
And you're doing battle as well, right? Like you had her arrested, you had her falsely arrested when you said she punched you in the face.
I did not falsely arrest her. Yes, she did get arrested for hitting me.
Did she like knock your teeth out or something?
No.
No, I'm serious, I don't know.
No,
I'm
no,
asking.
she didn't, but...
Did she split your lip? Did she
No.
break your nose? Did you really feel like at that point you needed police protection?
I didn't need protection, but that doesn't make it, doesn't matter how much damage is done. It's still against the law to do that.
but you made a decision to put your children's mother in jail. Again, bringing a third party in here. Why did you call the police? I know you had the right to call them. Why did you call them? What was your objective?
To hold her accountable for her actions. It had no, if you're thinking, ulterior motive for the kids.
I'm trying to get in your head and figure out what it would be that would cause you to want to have the mother of your children arrested and put in jail. And you spent the night in jail.
Yes, I did.
Okay, how'd that go for you?
It was awful. Because I didn't do anything wrong. I just told the truth. I said I may have made contact with him. I never hit him. I never punched him.
Is everything you're saying here today truthful? Have you exaggerated things? Have you lost your temper and spoken negatively about Michael in front of your children?
4 times took me to court. 4 times for full custody of the girls, with me having visitation rights, supervised visitation rights, when I have done nothing to the children.
Why doesn't anyone believe you? The
He
court
doesn't have the
doesn't believe
children.
you. The court doesn't believe you. The CPS doesn't believe you. What I'm trying to say is there anything you can change that calms this situation down?
If there is, I would love to know what to do, because every single time we have gone to court, more and more dirt is flung, and it's typically flung in my direction. So when the motion is filed by his attorney, then I have to answer the motions, and it costs money. So I have to defend myself to not lose custody of my children.
All right, we'll be right back.
Christy is alienating our children from me. Her fiance admitted in court that they badmouth me several times a day. When the kids come to be with me, that first day, there's what I would call a deprogramming phase. And it takes some time for them to start acting like their normal selves. I feel Christy is putting my children in the middle of situations that they don't need to be in.
Okay, what do you say to that?
Not just seeing my children. He just distorts things so well. He just turns them around. I am not brainwashing my children.
Well, you say that he doesn't let Tiffany communicate with you when she's at his house.
She's not allowed to communicate with me via text.
Did you really think that his father had kidnapped?
I never said that he was kidnapped, that she was kidnapped. He doesn't know. He
She had
wasn't
called
there.
911 and told them my dad had kidnapped my youngest daughter.
Hmm.
And you didn't say that?
No, I never
So
said
if we
that.
get the 911 tape and played, it won't say that
No.
your daughter's been kidnapped.
No, I said my daughter quite possibly could be in this truck. Because my father saw our baby girl, Alexa, being put into Grandpa's truck. Okay, you have to go through the whole day.
Did you call the authorities and say, my daughter has been taken, abducted, kidnapped, absconded with, anything at all?
Maybe taken. Then, if that's kidnapping, then
I
fine.
don't know.
It is.
I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm trying to get to something.
No, nobody. This is so frustrating to me because
You should be in this chair.
yeah, you should be in my chair.
I want these children to have both of their parents in their lives. I mean, because I know the impact if they don't. He has told the courts that you are an alcoholic addict.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
No.
Is that true?
An addict, yes. Christy always had an illness, phantom back pains. There was a period where she had back pains so extreme that we were making frequent trips to the ER, and they never could find anything wrong with her. And then she became addicted to painkillers, Vicodin. My oldest daughter would tell me that she had to get our youngest daughter out of the crib in the morning because mom couldn't get out of bed, and that was pretty scary.
Well, Areva Martin's an attorney that specializes in family law. She's Harvard educated, specializes in this very thing. Areva, you've been watching this unfold, and I'm telling these people that they are putting themselves and their family in harm's way by not maturely working out something that they can both live with here. What do you say?
Your advice is excellent, Dr. Phil. I mean, everything you've said is so on point. And what I just want to say to these parents is cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. You guys obviously love your children, and I'm not here to advocate for either of you. I'm really here to advocate for those kids. And Dr. Phil, I'm so surprised. All the legal documents I've read, why the court hasn't appointed a lawyer, a guardian ad litem for these kids. They need one so desperately.
Yes, they do.
Where is the love? Where is the concern? Where is the mature adult decisions to put all of your problems with each other aside and focus on your kids? I haven't heard anyone talk about that. All they're doing is this, Dr. Phil.
If you represented either one of these sides, could you not wreak havoc on the other side in court given their conduct?
There's enough, Dr. Phil, in these documents and these emails and texts that I've seen that one of these, either of them, could be in jeopardy of losing complete custody of their kids.
That's what I'm trying to say to you. Even, let's assume for a minute, okay? Let's assume for a minute that everything you allege here is correct. Yes. Is the manner in which you are handling this the right way to handle it?
Through the court system? Yes, I do.
Okay, all right. If everything you're saying is correct, do you believe that the way you're handling this is the best way to handle it?
No, and I would like better ways to handle it. That's why I'm here. I'm here because of my children. I have never once tried to take the children away from Michael. Never once. I have never done that.
Do you want these children away from her?
No, I don't want them away from her. What I want is for her to stop putting them in the middle of
And why did
all
you,
these situations.
Why did you file 3 motions and now just the 4th for full custody of the girls if you don't want them away from me?
Are you not better off to sit down and say, look, we were married, it didn't work. But it wasn't all negative because we have been blessed with these children. Mm-hmm. If you believe that he is a danger to your children, I understand why you would be concerned, but I don't really think you believe that he is that evil.
I don't believe that tape portrayed me as what I really feel at all.
So straighten that out.
Straighten it out?
Yeah.
There's one thing that I am, and I know this. I am a good mother, and I will always be a good mother to my children because I love them with all of my heart. They are my heart. I'm not saying what he did in this tape is an everyday problem. I'm not saying he's out there all the time kicking dogs and, just beating my children all the time or, exposing my now 13-year-old daughter to this. She is the one who's told the counselor this. I have a journal of all the things that she said. She keeps a journal of what happens at his house.
I have a letter here, and Christy provided a 2-page typed single-space letter that she says was written by her daughter Tiffany when she was 11 years old to Michael.
The therapist encouraged her to write that.
Yeah, Michael has never seen the letter, and here are a few excerpts. She's talking about you. Quote, "You treated me like garbage." Quote, "Watched you try to hurt my mom." Quote, "Never treated me like a daughter after Taylor was born." Quote, "Made my life a living nightmare." Quote, "Makes me sick to think I loved you when I was little." Quote, "You are a very abusive and angry person." Quote, "Ugly Michael comes out when we're home alone." I have to be completely honest to tell you that the phraseology here, the sentence structure here, the thought process here doesn't sound like it was written independently by an 11-year-old girl.
Her therapist was there.
And I'm not saying that you wrote it, and I'm really not. I'm not even suggesting. I don't know.
I had nothing to do with it.
She does have other things here. This is kind of a private journal. This is much more in the vernacular of a child. I have a hard time believing these were written by the same people. And she's very negative about you at this point. You realize that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, she's very, I'll just suffice it to say, she's very critical and very negative of you, which really, I'm sad to say. That should tell the two of you that what you're doing is not working. We'll be right back. The sum total of what y'all are doing, I'm already seeing the impact on the children. Do you get that? This isn't a victory that she's writing these things about.
No, it's not.
Her
It's
father.
sad. It's very sad.
That's not a victory for either one of you.
It's sad.
It's sad.
Breaks my heart.
Because let me tell you, these children, because you're going to have a joint custody situation, at every time that should be a joyful and celebratory circumstance for these children, they're going to feel like a rope in a tug-of-war. They're going to be felt like they're caught in the middle because we don't have adults that are selfless enough to step up and say, my emotional agenda goes on the back burner, your emotional agenda goes on the front burner. You are who I live for. You are what will cause me to tell myself, no, I'm not going to do this. We are fiduciaries for you. We put your interest ahead of our own, and we're going to make sure that we interact in a way that brings joy to your life.
I've tried from day one.
Well, that needs to happen. And
I've tried and tried and tried and tried.
I'm not trying hard enough. How do you think I feel? These are my children.
Stand up. What did you want to say?
You have to grow up. Be the parents.
Tell me why you're so energized about this. Why is this so close to home for you?
I have a miracle child. Many years ago, there was a very sudden split between her father and myself. I said, I'm going to be the strongest mother I can be for my little girl. It's so hard to suck it all in, but you have to do it. It's your responsibility.
And I'm glad you made it through it. Okay? I'm glad that you made it through it. I'm glad that your ex-husband didn't drag you through court.
Hold on. Listen to me. I want to be focused right here, right now. Both of you are so convinced that you're right and are so in a righteous fight for survival. You've got to stop the competition here. I will find you a mediator. I will find you someone that is skilled in family dynamic, that understands the ad litem point of view for these children, that will sit down and work out with you a plan that you can both live with. Because if you continue the combat, whichever one of you prevails, the loser will be your children. So will you participate in what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
You will come to the table and participate about it.
Every single time I am supposed to be
I believe you. Will you participate in that?
Yes, I will.
You're going to have to both agree that when you walk in that room, you both agree that this will not be used against either of the other in any court proceedings. It has to be absolutely focused on the children, okay? We'll be right back. Well, if you and an ex are in a standoff and you're both willing to come here to work it out, you can go to drphil.com. You can tell me your story. I really appreciate both of y'all sharing today and talking about this, and Anthony for being here. Special thanks to family law attorney Ariva Martin. Thanks for being here. I appreciated your input. I want folks to understand that if you can work this out among you, instead of bringing in an authority from the outside who can make any decision they want, and it's hard to unring that bell. Once they render an order, to get that reversed is really a problem. We'll have a link to Ariva's site on drphil.com. She is an amazing child advocate. You'll find some interesting resources there as well. Thanks for being here. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil.
Well, let's ask Dr. Phil, and a lot of the questions are about parenting.
Should a mom be acting like her teen daughter?
She's living with your ex-boyfriend. How old's he?
19.
Should a boy be the man of the house?
I should not have to check in with my 9-year-old.
You've got to step back up and get control.
Plus, amazing weight loss results and an update on Ted Williams.
Ted left treatment against medical advice. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If it matters to you, that's what I want to talk about. Are you ready in the booth? Let's do it. Go, Dr. Phil. Well, I love today because it is Ask Dr. Phil Day, and that means I get all kinds of questions. I'm going to answer questions about everything from babies to diets to bossy kids to checked out moms. But first question that I've been stopped on the streets most about lately is what's the latest with Ted Williams, the homeless guy with the golden voice? Before I give you an update, here's what's happened leading up to the latest headline. He has gone from rags to riches. I'm going to go sit down with Ted and tell him what I think. I think you need to go to rehab. I will provide that for you. We are prepared to make that available to you.
That'd be fine. Then I'll get up and hug you for that.
After taping a 3-part series of the Dr. Phil Show, Ted Williams says he's now headed for rehab.
I'm going to get well. All I ask is that you don't forget me.
Well, Dr. Phil, and I am surrounded by the best medical team that can be offered at this moment, and I feel really, really good.
Ted, thank you so much. As you know, no cameras in rehab. We're leaving you alone. Do what you got to do, my friend.
I love you, Dr. Phil.
Ted has made the decision and commitment to voluntarily put himself in rehab at Origins Recovery Center. He sounds great and motivated about the second chance, but the question is, will that commitment last? What happens from this point forward is now 100% up to him, and this is no sure thing. Well, that was prophetic, if I do say so myself, because as reported, Ted left the Origins Recovery Center in Texas against medical advice. Now, he was there voluntarily, so it was certainly his option to depart. It was definitely not my first choice for him to leave there. But once he enters treatment, what happens then is totally between him and the medical staff that works with him on a daily basis. I step back and let the professionals do what they do. Now, my recommendation was that he stay at least 30 days, preferably 90 days, and then probably go to a sober living house before returning to his old environment. I felt like that was his best chance to not be a 15-minute phenom, but to truly get his life, family, and career back. But drug addiction is a complex disease with medical, psychological, environmental, and social components. You all know Brandon. It was the first live intervention that I think's ever been done on television. We did it right here on this stage. It took him at least 3 years to get sober. He came on this stage, flipped me off, and stormed off. He relapsed once, he relapsed twice. I wound up visiting him during a 6-month jail sentence where he had been arrested for black tar heroin. Now, however, he's been completely clean and sober for 5 years, and even more amazing, he is leading others to sobriety. With Ted leaving treatment so early in the game, he is on a very slippery slope. We can all hope for the best, but I think we have to expect the worst. Ted, if you're listening, I stand ready to help. I wish you all the best, and I hope that you decide to return to treatment. Now, moving on. My first guest, 17-year-old Amanda, says that she is upset that her mom parties more than she does. Take a look.
I want my mom to be there like a mom and not a friend.
My parents have been separated for about 2 years now.
She's not the same person she was. My mom's 38, just got a tattoo, and likes to party. I don't like how much you party.
How much do I party?
All the time.
What is all the time?
Every weekend. When I was younger, my mom was kind of strict towards partying, but now she's kind of like, let's party together, let's go get drunk. My mom usually parties with her next door neighbors. They're around 19 to 21. She hangs out with younger people to make herself feel younger. It makes me embarrassed. I introduced my mom to Anthony when he was my boyfriend. Now, Anthony and my mom live together. They're roommates.
This is my living room. Quite extravagant.
Anthony's 19, almost 20. It's weird, obviously. A couple months ago, my mom quit her job. When she quit her job, she received her retirement money. 2 months later, she has pretty much none of it left. It's a stupid decision. I feel like I should slap my mom with a reality stick. She needs to be more of a mom than my best friend. There's always going to be a part of me that wants the mom I had from when I was little to 16 back.
So what's up with your mom?
I'd say I'm concerned that she's more focused on having fun than her responsibilities.
But why? What happened? What sent her spinning in the fun direction?
Okay, well, when her and my dad separated, she kind of changed. And she recently quit her job, so she doesn't really have any responsibilities.
You think the divorce set her off?
Yeah.
Because let me tell you a couple things that she told us and tell me if this is consistent with how she's living.
Okay.
She says, quote, I've recently taken back myself. I am desperate to make my dreams come true and want everything that makes me happy or feel good.
Yeah.
Does that sound like the way she's behaving?
Yeah, she does. Everything she does I know makes her happy, so I obviously will support her, but still part of me is bothered by it.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you. So what'd you think when she got an arm full of tattoos?
I actually like her tattoo.
Yeah?
Because I'm on it.
Yeah, well, that's one good thing, I suppose.
I mean, it's different because she's older, and usually younger people get tattoos, but...
Yeah. She's living with your ex-boyfriend. How old's he?
19.
Doesn't that creep you out?
We didn't really date for long if we weren't, in love or anything.
Well, that's handy. All right, next, you're going to meet Amanda's mom and find out why she's living with Amanda's ex-boyfriend. And later, they have lost inches and pounds in just 17 days. We're talking about the 17-day diet challenge. The results are amazing. Later in the show. We'll be right back.
People come up to me and say, wow, you look great. What are you doing?
I feel so good because I've lost 3 inches from my waist.
I gained a bunch of weight during my pregnancy, but I lost 21 pounds on the 17-day diet. 21.
Well, it's Ask Dr. Phil Day, and I'm here with Amanda, who says her mom, Beth, would be better off if she would be more of a parent and less of a friend. But Beth says, hey, it's time to have some fun. Take a look.
My children live with their father full-time. I've wanted to leave for a long time. I just didn't. But it wasn't anything against him, it was me. I finally decided enough was enough, that I was gonna take my life back, that I was gonna start doing what I wanted to do. I moved out 1.5 years ago. Now I live with my best friend, Anthony, and my cat. I worked for 10 years at a really good job. I quit the job and cashed out my retirement plan, and now I'm just kind of winging it. I am down to have a good time and have a few drinks with some friends and let loose and dance and sing. Basically, I can make my own decisions and not worry about things, because nothing I would ever choose is bad for anybody, only good for myself. I think I've been a pretty good mom. Maybe not the best mom, but absolutely not even close to the worst. Because I was always there for my kids.
You said that you liked everything about me. Are you faking it?
They knew they were loved, always.
Okay, so you're kind of watching your story here, and you've kind of told us what your thinking is. You're just desperate to have some fun.
Well, I'm desperate to have any fun, yes, but not to the point where I'm going, I know she thinks I party too much, but I just want to do what I want to do. I lived with my dad for 18 years, then I moved with her dad, and I lived with him for 19 years. I was never able to make my own decisions. Got to a point where I decided I want to start making my own decisions.
Okay. And listen, I get that. I do. I can't tell you how many mothers that I've said, look, you need to take care of yourself. You need to do something for yourself. You need to have a good time. But that doesn't mean that you just drop the kids at the mall and don't ever come back.
Oh, no, for sure.
I mean, you
I
can't
see her
just,
every week.
Well, I know.
It's not like I never see her.
But let me tell you something that she said. I wrote this down because I thought it is pretty important. She said that she frankly feels like you've pretty much abandoned her and that you'll put friends before her. You said that, right?
I said that sometimes I'll ask her to do something and she'll be busy with friends. So
You said, quote, feel like mom abandons me. If I need her, she'll put friends before me. Now, that's not the way you feel. Don't say it now. If you've changed your mind since we interviewed you.
Say whatever you feel.
No, I do not think you abandoned me, obviously, because I see you every week, but I do feel like you put friends before me at times. So, yeah, it makes me upset.
And she says she wants to tell you how she feels, but that you're just too hard-headed to hear it. Did you say that?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I think she's afraid to tell me. And I learned that while...
Well, but you're here.
Yeah, yay.
Yeah, and she's telling you now, sort of. She's kind of backpedaling because you're here, so she's kind of like, well, yeah.
Wait.
But no, I mean, this is about balance, right?
For sure.
You're living with a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I enjoy his company.
Well, you've got a 20-year-old almost.
No, we argue a lot more than my roommate and I. She wouldn't live with me regardless.
Are you sleeping with this boy?
Like having sex?
Yes.
No.
But you're sleeping with him and not having sex?
Like sleeping in the same bed.
Well, we don't have sex.
But you share a bed?
We have shared a bed. And we don't snuggle, we don't touch, we don't... I live in a fifth wheel. Where are we going to sleep?
Yeah, so it's tight.
Yeah.
Okay, so you quit your job.
I did.
And you say she just needs to be slapped for that.
Yes.
Would you like me to slap her?
A lot of people think I did.
I'm here to serve.
I worked for the government for 10 years. All I got was a cup. So I decided, I'm done.
Well, no, you got a cup and 10 years of salary and 10 years of retirement built up.
And I did get it out before the law started
health care and benefits and all of that. So you got a lot more than a cup.
Yeah, I did, but I put in for it. I worked for it. They didn't give it to me.
No, exactly. And now you're unemployed, right?
Correct.
And
no, actually, I have a job offer. So
you what?
I have a job offer.
You have a job offer. But you can't take it because you're having surgery done Saturday.
Possibly.
What you haven't done?
Breast enhancement surgery.
Breast enhancements. To go with your new tattoo.
I have 4 tattoos.
4 tattoos.
Yeah.
Look, you do need to take care of yourself. I mean, there's no question about that. You really do. And I don't mean to suggest that you don't. But you do need to finish what you started.
Absolutely.
You have your daughter and you have a son.
Right.
And he's 12 years old.
Yes.
And he misses you.
He comes to me every week, and I pick him up from school after school every day.
Does he miss her?
Well, obviously, yes.
Has this been hard on him?
He doesn't really let it show because he's young, and I don't know, but I can tell he's sad at times.
When I talked to him yesterday, he said that he wanted to come on Dr. Phil to tell you that I don't buy him enough video games.
That's clever.
That was his reaction.
Yeah, that's because he's 12.
Exactly. I don't really worry about my kids too much. Sometimes I worry about my son. Maybe he needs me a little more, but for the most part, my kids are pretty well adjusted.
This change my mom's going through has affected my little brother because he doesn't really understand why he can only see her once a week when he was used to seeing her every day.
I spend more quality time with my son now than I did when I lived with him. I'm pretty content with the time I spend with my kids. Obviously, if there's free time in the day, I could always spend more time with them. And who knows, you know, depending on where my future goes, I might spend a lot more time with them.
My biggest fear about my mom, I might lose her because over the past 2 years, we're not as close as we were, and I might not have her at all.
You understand there is a price for what you're doing.
Oh, definitely.
And she's paying it, and he's paying it.
Definitely.
And so you just have to decide, are you willing for them to pay the price? Because I think you need to take care of yourself, create some balance in your life, but I also think you have to finish what you started.
Right.
You have to parent these children.
Right.
You don't just, you have 2 children, they're both living with their dad, because you say, well, he needs to be with his dad, but he needs his mother, he misses you.
Right. What do you suggest?
Well, I suggest some balance here. I suggest that you, well, okay, you ask, let me just give you a tick list here. I suggest that you not be living with a 20-year-old, because I think that's really bad for him. I don't know what his thinking is.
They really get along well. It's like his big brother.
I'm talking about the 20-year-old.
Oh, the 20-year-old and I, though, were not in a relationship.
Yeah, you're just roommates.
So, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's different. We've never shown affection out in the public. We've never portrayed ourselves as boyfriend or dating or anything like that.
I am suggesting that she needs a mother, not a friend. That your son needs his mother. I think having him just live with his father all the time is apparently painful to him, so I think that's a bad idea. I think you need to get a job.
Oh, I know I need to get a job.
And I think you need to take care of your responsibilities with your children. You started that before you decided it was time that you were desperate to have some fun and do anything that felt good to you. I think you have to balance those things out, or you're going to have a disaster on your hands. All right, we got to take a quick break. Next, a mom who says her 9-year-old son is trying to control her. And later, you're going to be seeing a lot less of my 17-day dieters. Check this out.
My name is Heather, and I have lost 22 pounds. Everybody wants to know my secret. They're constantly asking me, what are you doing? What diet are you on? And 17-day diet is all I say.
More amazing 17-day diet results. You won't want to miss this, so stick around. Well, let's ask Dr. Phil today, and a lot of the questions are about parenting. Now, Gigi wrote to me complaining about her 9-year-old son. The problem is he thinks he's the parent. He wants his mother on a short leash. Take a look.
Yeah, I've had it with my son, Dr.Phil, who's 9. You making stuff too difficult for no reason. Dr.Phil is controlling. I didn't say I liked it. Everything gotta be difficult. He wants to know what I'm doing, where I am, who I'm with, what's happening. I should not have to check in with my 9-year-old. If I say I'm going to the doctor, he might call home from school. Did you go to the doctor today? How was your doctor's appointment? If I get off work, I'm supposed to be here at 5:30. He's calling me at 5:02. Mom, are you off? Where are you?
One time I called my mom 45 times because I wanted somebody to talk to.
Dr.Phil feels like he is the man of the house.
You got the keys, right, Mom?
He's very unpredictable. He gets in trouble a lot for disrespect, being sneaky, lying.
The main problem between me and my mom is communication.
All I know is he's been a great child till 9. And then he started getting a little crazy, and nobody knows why. A few months ago, Dr.Phil ran away 5 times within a 2-month period.
The #1 reason was because my mom was getting on my nerves.
For him to run away, to come back and say, it's because I hate my mom, I need to get away from her, I feel like she's always in my face, was very appalling. Makes me feel helpless. What can I do to reconnect with my son and tame his controlling ways so that we can function better as a household, have more positive interactions?
Can't say I'm the perfect angel, but I'm like half of it.
Okay, first off, good news and bad news, you have a really bright son.
Right.
He's very smart, right?
Right.
But he's bugging you now.
Oh, yeah.
He's bugging you now. So we got the tail wagging the dog here.
man or something.
Yeah, we got him where he's got you just frustrated.
Yeah, beyond belief.
And listen, right now, he's kind of cute with this and kind of benevolent about it because he calls you 45 times because he's bored and he misses you and he wants to talk to you, and that's kind of sweet in a way, right? Mm-hmm. But the truth is, he doesn't know where the boundaries are.
Correct.
He doesn't respect the boundaries, and that's a problem. See, you're not raising a child, you're raising an adult. And between now and adulthood, he's going to go through teenage years because he's getting ready to get hit with testosterone. He's gonna get bigger. He's going to get stronger. This is going to be an issue. Yeah. You have to make your stand right here, right now, because at 9 years old, you can really have some influence and power over him that 3 years from now, 4 years from now, you can't have. So now's the time. You need to throw down and have this out right here, right now, because 3, 4 years from now, you are not going to be able to control him.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Okay, so, but do you get that now's the time?
Yeah.
And you got to go into commando parenting. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. You describe yourself as a really good mom 25% of the time.
I didn't say that.
He said that.
Oh, okay.
So what's happening the other 75%?
I don't know. What did he say?
Well, you tell me. Why would he say that? Is that because you do what he wants you to 25% of the time?
That's probably as much as he gets his way. It's 25% of the time.
You think that's it?
Oh, I know that's it. I put my foot down on a regular basis.
Yeah, and what happens when you do that?
It just makes things more difficult a lot of the times. Causes him to become more stubborn.
Okay, and as smart as he seems, and as devoted as he seems, I mean, he makes a commitment to getting control, right?
Yes,
he hangs with it.
He does.
But you recognize that he doesn't have the ability to predict the consequences of his actions.
Definitely not.
He's run away 5 times, right?
Yes.
When he runs away, he puts his life in jeopardy.
I know.
Because there are predators out there that will get a hold of him, and there is no telling what might happen. The truth is, you've got to be willing to get him under control by going way strict in the beginning and be prepared for him to rebel. Right now, he's got a real sense of entitlement, true?
Correct.
Tell me what that means to you, that he's entitled.
He feels like he's entitled to be the man of the house and to make the decisions that an adult should make when he doesn't understand, you know, the full consequence of making that decision. Yeah. He just picks left or right, not actually thinking about it.
You got 4 jobs with him. Safety. You got to keep him safe. When he's running away, he's not safe.
Correct.
If he continues to do that, then you got to take whatever measures necessary, even if it meant taking him out of the home.
Right.
Health. You got to make sure he's healthy, and that means you got to keep him away from drugs and alcohol and predators and that sort of thing. You have to prepare him. You got to teach him to perform in school, and that teach him that when you do a good job, the world rewards you. Not with your love. That's unconditional. Right. You love him whether he makes A, B, C's, D's, whatever. You got to love him no matter what. But you have to make sure he understands that the world's going to require him to perform. And then you got to prepare him to be an adult. You got to teach him responsibility. And right now, he doesn't know responsibility. He just knows demand. Kids, they want what they want when they want it, and they want it right now.
Right now.
Yeah, they want it right now. I mean, look at this picture.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonder where he gets the sense of entitlement.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like you snapped that picture at Toys R Us. Okay? And when I say commando, you've got to be prepared for all of that to go away. And I am full aware that right now, you kind of have lost traction with him. You need some help with that. And I'm going to get a counselor to help you with this.
Okay.
And it's going to be a male.
That's what he needs.
Counselor that's going to teach him what it is to be a man. But I'm telling you, you've got to go into what I call commando parenting. And I'm going to get you support to do that. But that means you got to be willing to strip his world. Yes. You got to be willing to say, look, you want to be a man, then you treat your mother with respect. We make some agreements. We set up some boundaries. We set up some structures. We're going to write it down in a contract. We're going to both sign it. We're going to put it on the refrigerator door. Okay. And you're going to agree to the things, young man, that you say you're going to agree to. And if you violate those, there's going to be a severe penalty of whatever his currency is. You've got to step back up and get control.
I can do that.
You can, I know you can do that. All right, we're going to make it work?
I think so.
All right. All right, next, a mom who says it's okay to exploit your baby. Well, Teresa Strasser is here. You've seen her on the show before. She's a comedian. She's a television personality. She's a radio personality. And most importantly, she's a new mom who can't stop obsessing about her new baby. So she hit the streets with some questions about baby etiquette. Take a look.
Hey, Dr. Phil. So I first came on your show, I was 8 months pregnant. Now I have a 16-month-old. But when it comes to the world of baby etiquette, I'm still kind of a baby. So I came here to get some answers. Okay, so your kids are in a restaurant and they're just completely freaking out. What do you do?
You bail. You're like, whose kids are those?
I like your style a lot. What do you think of shrieking babies on planes?
It is 100% the parents' fault.
Am I allowed to touch a pregnant person's stomach?
No.
But I mean, there's a human child just coming out at me. I want to touch it so badly.
But it's not yours to touch.
Is it rude to ask when someone's due?
I just would never ask anyone if they were pregnant. 2 months after I had delivered, people will still say, when are you due? And I'm like, 2 months ago.
Unless that baby is actually crowning and you can see it coming out, don't ask when she's due. Charlie, do you like Dr. Phil? That's a yes. You see an ugly baby, what do you say?
We lie through our teeth, and then we go home and mock the baby.
There's all children are beautiful.
Now, Teresa has a new book called Exploiting My Baby Because It's Exploiting Me. You had to explain that title.
Okay, well, as a writer, you know, everything is fodder. But when I was pregnant, I was worried, if I write about this pregnancy, will people think I'm just exploiting my baby? So I called it that.
Yeah, well, okay.
You know, you got to look the boogeyman right in the eyes.
Yeah, so I've read this, actually, and you talk about everything. You said you used to be really private.
Yeah,
about things, and then all of a sudden, once you have a baby, you're pregnant, you talk about anything.
Yeah, I talk about hemorrhoids, which, by the way, there is a bright side, because I think that's nature telling you, get up and move around. Maybe lay off the cheese wheels.
You said your biggest worry was becoming like your mom.
Yeah, I was terrified, but I was really scared that I didn't have the stuff to be a great mom because I didn't have a great mom. I mean, I always used to joke, she should have named me and my brother Burden and Buzzkill. It was not her thing. And I will say, while she was not a great mother, she's a great grandmother. She's watching my baby right now.
So how is the baby?
Oh my gosh, she's so adorable. I made a lot of, you know, oh yeah, that's Nathaniel. I love him so much. I made a lot of proclamations before I had the baby, like what kind of mom. I was never gonna have boring conversations about my baby, and yet we could sit here and I could go on about the difference between Aquaphor, Balmex, butt paste, you know, for 3 hours. I know, but you have a grandbaby, so you know.
I do have a grandbaby.
You change the diapers? You get in there?
No,
Robin?
No.
No.
No, this is our granddaughter.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
You must be so excited.
Yeah, I really am, and she likes me pretty well, actually.
She does?
Yeah.
Who does she like better, you or Robin?
Oh, Robin, for sure. There's no question about it. I mean, when Robin walks in the room, she starts kicking her legs and going
when they
crazy.
get happy when they see somebody.
Yeah,
and they do
see, here we are talking about babies like old people.
I
These aren't stories.
I know, but I thought when I got pregnant, I was scared. Like, what if both my ass and my mind wear mom jeans?
Yeah, that'd be bad.
You know, like if I become a complete bore, then I realized I'm already a bore.
But so you got really sideways with Nancy O'Dell in this book.
Yeah.
Has she read the book?
No.
No?
I really...
She's a good friend of mine.
Oh,
so.
no. It's out of jealousy. I couldn't be more jealous of Nancy O'Dell. She's beautiful. She's got a very successful career. I'm on AM radio, Dr. Phil. But she wrote a pregnancy book called Full of Life. And she talked about her main symptoms were her extra glowing skin and glowing hair. Meanwhile, I was like barfing, I had hemorrhoids, my skin was breaking out, and her biggest problem was how to redecorate the nursery. You know, I hated her. And then in the end of her book, she says, one day I was crying, and finally my husband said, babe, and he calls her babe. Finally my husband said, babe, what's wrong? And she said, I'm just so happy. And then he said, you have postpartum elation. And, you know, when you're pregnant, you're hormonal, and, you know, you're swollen. I had cankles. I threw the book across the room. She's too perfect.
You had a question for me. What is it?
Okay, all right. Well, you and Robin are incredibly classy, and particularly Robin is a beautiful dresser. Now, my mother, who, as you know, has come around, and now she babysits, she showed up to, we'd go to the little Mommy and Me gymnastics. She was wearing an extra large men's shirt. It was tie-dye with dancing bears. It was red and orange. It was so bright, like a kid had a seizure. How can I get her to dress in a more tactful manner?
You need to pick your battles. That is not a battle you want to pick.
It was tie-dye. There's dye right in the word, because I died inside.
I know, but you don't want to pick that battle. What you want to do is be so glad that she's babysitting your child.
Yeah, for free.
Yeah.
The low, low cost of nothing, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Teresa's new book is called Exploiting My Baby Because It's Exploiting Me. If you read this book, you will laugh till you are sick, I swear. But it's also very insightful. People will relate to this. All right, next, amazing results from the 17-day diet. We'll be right back. Well, it is the #1 weight loss plan in America, the 17-day diet. Now, a few weeks ago, we introduced you to a group of people who couldn't wait to try it. Let's see how they're doing. I am launching the 17-day diet challenge starting right now.
By looking at me, nobody would ever think that I was a real-life in-store Barbie doll.
When I saw the video of my backside, I can't imagine anybody walking behind me and not saying, look at her butt.
When I saw myself in the underwear on the Dr.Phil show, it was probably the most embarrassing moment.
The 17-day diet challenge is not just for these three. I want Chanel, Amanda, Tracy, Brad, Joni, Tom, and Christina. People on my left, you are Team Dr. Phil. People on my right, I have a different team captain for you. Please welcome Dr. Travis Stork from The Doctor.
So we wish the Dr. Phil team the best, but we're gonna win.
Failure is not an option. We're going to do this right one time, and everybody's going to do it with us.
So far, I've lost 9 pounds. Like, I just can't believe how fast the results are coming along and how good it's making me feel.
I lost 45 pounds on the 17-day diet, and I feel great.
Since I've been on the 17-day diet, I have lost 12 pounds.
I'm Tom, and I've lost 34 pounds on the 17-day diet. It's the greatest feeling. I have more energy than I ever imagined I could have.
Okay, what you just heard, Doctor, this is after the first cycle, 17 days in, and some of those are 34 pounds in 17 days, 17 pounds in 17 days. If you want to join the 17-day dieters, you can order the book at 17daydiet.com, 17daydiet.com. Now, Dr. Mike here is the author of the 17-day diet, and he's here to talk about this. Now, are you amazed at how your book has swept across America?
I'm a little shocked because people have just embraced this thing and really see the passion behind where this is going to take us. But people are doing so well and really finding it so easy.
Yeah, it's just astounding to me. I mean, this thing has just gone crazy since we introduced it here. And everybody at home can be part of the 17-day diet. In fact, take a look at these Facebook comments from people that have. Deb, day 14, have lost 10.2 pounds. Kelly, I'm amazed at this diet. 9 days, 9 pounds, feeling great. Jim, I've been on it since January 3rd, down 18 pounds. Awesome. Cats, I love this plan. I've lost 13.5 pounds on day 15. Now, you're not surprised at that because what you set out in here really maximizes the body's ability to burn.
This diet, as you go on, it gets better. It gets easier. You continue to see results. I just don't think there's anything like that out there.
Because what happens most of the time with diets is people plateau.
Right.
And what happens is after 17 days, you shift everything to phase 2. After 17 days, phase 3. 17 days, phase 4. And so it lays it out for them so they can do it.
Each cycle has a very unique part of it, and there's a true reason why you go through each cycle. And to be on a diet where you have something to look forward to is so rare.
Yeah, so you don't fatigue.
Right, you don't get bored, you don't fatigue, you don't plateau, you continue to see those results and enjoy it more and more.
And you guys know how I feel about this. The book talks very specifically about the fact that you need to exercise, you need to change your lifestyle, you need to do things so you support all of this rapid weight loss, which research is actually saying that rapid weight loss is a positive at this point.
If you do them in a healthy way, the way this book sets it up to do, it just makes you want to keep going.
Yeah, right. All right, next, why one woman is jealous of her husband's weight loss. She's saying, I'm feeling a little disconnected here. We'll be right back. Well, it's Ask Dr. Phil Day, and we are here with Dr. Mike Moreno, the author of the 17-Day Diet. And also, Tom is here, who's one of the challengers, and he has lost 34 pounds. He's with his wife, Rebecca, who says, frankly, she's a little jealous of his weight loss program. First, congratulations, 34 pounds in 17 days. That's great.
Thanks, Dr. Phil.
Because you'd made an important promise to somebody that you really need to keep.
Yeah, I have a 17-month-old son, and before he was born, I made a video journal, and I was promising him, look, you're never going to have to know a 300-pound dad. I didn't quite keep up on that promise, but now I'm able to actually, I'm getting close to getting under 300 pounds. Yeah, and he won't know a 300-pound dad. He's not going to remember a 300-pound dad.
Yeah, so you're staying with this.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
So what do you think about this?
I think it's awesome. The envious part is that he's talking to the other contestants all the time, and I can support him only to a certain extent because, you know, I don't know exactly what he's going through because I'm not going through it. I don't have tons of weight to lose, but he's talking a lot to contestants, and I can't really understand it fully. So.
Yeah. But you do support him, right?
Oh, yes, 100%.
Because, listen, one of the things that's so important about this, and Doctor, we've talked about this a lot, if you're going to lose weight and you're going to keep it off, you've got to set your life up to support where you're going and where you get. And that means you've got to surround yourself with people that support what you're doing.
She's the most amazing woman I've ever met in my life, so I want her to feel included in everything. And I would say that if she wasn't sitting here, too.
All right, now you're making the rest of us look bad. So what's your question for the doc?
Okay, Dr. Mike, I know you read my food journals before I started this, and I know that you know that I had a problem with diet soda. I drank about 12 to 16 a day. Thank you.
Yeah, a problem, I don't know if I would count. I think it goes a little beyond that. I'm kidding, but no, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Through this process, I've done pretty well so far. I have not been able to completely kick the diet sodas. I'm down to between 1 and 3 a day. I want to know, like, exactly how bad are they for me? I mean, is it really that bad? Because it don't feel that bad.
You know, first of all, I want to congratulate you because, you know, you've done something that not a lot of people can do, and I think that's amazing. So I really want to congratulate you. You know, everybody talks about sodas, and everyone's like, oh, don't drink sodas. They're bad for you. Why are they bad for you? Well, let's talk about it for a second. You know, the basis of health is hydration. And, you know, we talk about hydration all the time. When you take a soda, you take the sodium, you take the sugars, you take the caffeine, there's really nothing good about it. And you're really going away from what we all want in that whole process. And weight loss is hydration, keeping your body hydrated. And we talk about that a lot in the book. So I think, you know, that's the basis of that's just one point. You talk about blood pressure, you talk about sugars, you talk about so many things like that. I tell people, reach for a glass of water. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not a big water drinker. It doesn't taste very well. In fact, it doesn't taste. So what I like to do, there's a number of different zero carb or very, very low carb drinks that are flavored. There are a lot of packets you can add to water, or what I do is I take these little 20-ounce things, I dilute them. So I'll drink one, I'll empty it, and I'll dilute it with water half and half. You're not going to get any carbs. You're going to get all the hydration you need. You may be going to the bathroom a lot, but let me tell you, it's going to be helpful for you.
Okay, but now, and I want people to know, because you talk about this in the book, the high sodium can affect your blood pressure. But also, I want people to know this tricks your body because you give your body a signal that sugar's coming.
Right.
And so it activates insulin and starts doing different things, and then it doesn't come.
Yeah,
so your body's like, hey, what?
I'll tell you, I see so many problems every day that are based solely on dehydration. People come in dizzy. People come in with headaches. People come in fatigued. Night cramps, leg cramps. I hear that 2-3 times a day. Let me tell you, a glass of water can change those things overnight.
And you go in the opposite direction with a diet drink. Again, if you want to join the dieters, go to 17daydiet.com. We'll be right back. You heard what I said on the show, but to find out what I said after the show, visit drphil.com and click on Dr. Phil Uncensored. I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to Dr. Mike Moreno, whose book, The 17-Day Diet, is only available at 17daydiet.com. And thanks to Teresa Strasser. Her new book is called Exploiting My Baby Because It's Exploiting Me. And everybody in the audience is going home with a copy. All right? So you got that. Thanks for being here. So long.